going. I like the aggression. Dude, let me drop the green car. You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck in.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to see you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Come in the line.
Here low, come back on him.
That was incredible.
Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to NWP. Tonight here on Danny B Talks. I am Danny B Talks, and I am joined by one of my usual hosts, Jarrett the Iceberg Lundberg, and we have a special guest filling in for Eric this week, at least for a little bit in the show, Peter Strada. Peter, remind me again where you are, what your media affiliate is whenever you're at the races.
So yes, I know you guys from several years of doing media at the racetracks. I do some YouTube work as well on my own channel. It's just my name, Peter Strada, and then the media affiliate that both Noah Lewis and I are associated with is TSJ Sports, a website that we both run.
Yeah, so Peter is part of our clique, I guess, whenever we're at the races. But it's always good to talk with Peter. Me and him chat about trains more often than racing. That's the sad truth of it. But Peter, thanks for coming on of us so last minute. So guys, Eric, by the way, I don't think he'll be on the entire show. His flight got delayed. So him and his wife are flying out of town. Wait, what do you mean,
Hold
Jared?
on. I think he might be here. Hold on.
McDonald's
Oh,
Wi-Fi. Yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah. McDonald's Wi-Fi struck again. Sorry, Eric. We'll see you next week.
But in all seriousness, have fun to him and Amelia. Hope they have a good trip this week. And so the show goes on. The show goes on. And we'll
do it live.
We'll do it live. So Peter, thanks for joining us. As we get ready to talk about SVG taking off his belt and whipping the entire field on Sunday in Mexico City.
It was quite the historic butt kicking, that's for sure. I think one of the largest margin of victories we've seen in the modern era, definitely longest in a hot minute, and I can't wait to talk about the whole historic weekend.
He must have slowed down or something, because I swear I thought he was like over 20 seconds ahead, but his actual margin of victory was 16.5 seconds. He must have just took it easy at the end or something. I don't know.
Well, I was listening to his radio throughout the race. He was just doing what he had to do over the last couple of laps or so. Once the battle for second sorted itself out, that Bell got by Elliott or whoever it was, SVG had like a 12-second lead, and you knew from then, without a caution, that he just had it in the bag.
Yeah. So
Well, this is crazy at the end of that race with the margin of victory too. Because I partake in being a big fan of the channel Voti that re-uploads all of those races from the early 2000s and like 07, 08, 09. And it was just, I think this past week, he re-uploaded the 2009 Dickies 500, which was the largest margin of victory, that we've had in like the last 20 some years outside of this race. And that was because Kurt Busch outlasted the entire field on fuel. All of his competition ran out and won by like 26 seconds. This was just belt to ass. Yeah. I mean, there's no other way around it. We can have the talk about the playoff side of things. We have the talk about SVG or Mexico or any of that. I mean, but the truth to it all, I mean, it was once he got out there and took control of the race, I mean, it was over. And it was so crazy seeing early in the race that I think he was just playing with everybody. It seemed like he was just playing with Ty Gibbs and Christopher Bell. Like I have not seen somebody that dominant in this kind of era since I started watching. I would argue, honestly, that dominant since like that Busch race with Dale Jr. at Daytona, where he just pulled away from the pack. Like that is the level of dominance this was in. And I hope people realize like how badass that actually is.
Yeah. It's, everyone loves a good race where it comes down to a photo finish here and there, but sometimes it is refreshing just to see the field humbled a little bit, if that's the right word. because that's all they could be at that point, is just humbled. It's incredible. We will have plenty of time to talk about, what do we think about, it's been a hot topic on Twitter. What do we think about SVG's spot in the playoffs? And I've just come to the determination on that. Don't hate the player, hate the game. That is what it is. That's exactly why Trackhouse made the decision to hire SVG. They felt confident in his road course racing abilities. And at the end of the day, there's a chance, realistic chance, that SVG could be up there with Denny Hamlin and everyone else based on the way this breaks down going into the playoffs of how many wins that you have.
It's just a shame for SVG's sake that the Roval is no longer in the first round of the playoffs. If that was that round of 16 cutoff race, and he could legitimately have a realistic path deep into the playoffs. Not saying he does it now, but it's a bit more of an uphill climb for him.
I mean, it's a shame that he didn't have the schedule we had last year. Watkins Glen in the first round, Roval in the second round. Like, it's just sort of luck of the draw with that. I mean, on the playoff side of things, I am in that boat of hate the game, not the player, obviously, because he doesn't make the rules. It was just Trackhouse and Justin Marks exploited the system that it is good to have specialists in this system. If you have somebody who is almost for sure going to get at least one win a year at a road course, why wouldn't you do that? And if this, based on what the rumors from Dale Jr. Download and everything else this week are, that it's going to stay the same outside of maybe a final round, then why the hell would you not sign him to a 3-4 year extension on whatever the hell you have now? Because I mean, at this point, that is like a guaranteed bonus of $1 million or millions of dollars when you add in the playoffs, when you add in how far he'll leapfrog over everyone. I don't necessarily like it. I'm not in the boat of Richard Petty of saying road courses aren't NASCAR. I disagree with him there, but I do agree with Richard Petty and what he said about a guy being 30th, 33rd in points leapfrogging. Now he could jump him up. We'll put the points in the bottom in a bit. I think he's like 88 points out of 16th right now.
Yeah.
As is. So it's
I think it's 88 points.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah,
and
very
it's
fitting.
Well, and I think he made up like 29 or 30 or something points alone this week with the win. So it's like he very easily could actually be a top 20 points driver if he just doesn't suck at the ovals. Like that's realistic. So it's just another drop in the bucket on the system for me, man. That's just another drop in the bucket.
I'm just throwing out a hypothetical here. Let's say we do have 4 more road courses left. We have 3 more
to the playoffs.
3 more to the playoffs. If he could win 2 more of the upcoming ones, so let's just say hypothetically he wins Chicago and he wins Watkins Glen. That now gives him 3 wins, and he would be tied in wins with the likes of a Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell. He could realistically be in the top 4 or 5 guys by the time the playoffs start, which gives him a huge, insanely huge buffer going into the first round. The first round would be Darlington, Worldwide Technology Raceway, and Bristol. Not that I think he's going to have the greatest finishes in the world at those tracks, but it may give him enough of a buffer that he could survive until the round of 12, win the Roval, and somehow make his way into the round of 8. If he could win Talladega, we suddenly have SVG in the championship 4. That's just the realistic path that exists for SVG right now to be in the championship 4.
Danny, you predicted Joey Logano last year. What do you think on this one? Because Nostradamus here knows what he's talking about.
It's too early for me to tell. He's got to win at least 2 more races before I feel confident in that. But here's the thing. I did make a prediction, and we'll see if this comes true. I said somebody in the top 8 drivers going into the playoffs would be eliminated after the first round. So we will see what happens.
That would be that would be both the greatest and also kind of saddest way of it happening too.
Yeah.
All the hype and all that. But it's like a 2003 Ryan Newman walked so that 2025 SVG could run into a brick wall.
I mean, in my hypothetical that he wins 2 more road courses, wins the Roval, wins Talladega, that's 5 wins going into the championship 4. He should be in the championship 4 if he has 5 wins, in my opinion.
That hypothetical isn't entirely out there because he did win 3 regular season races in Xfinity last year, and I want to say it was 4th or 5th seed entering those playoffs. So, I mean, he may only get points from wins or from road course stage wins, but those quickly do add up.
Yeah.
God, it's just insane to me. I mean, just the whole conversation. Dude has been a complete non-factor all year, and now it's like all that's a race. And don't get me wrong, like I don't blame him at all, but I will say too, like about the race, like this is the part like where me as somebody who doesn't like the playoffs, it hurts, is because I love this story that like he can go out there and kick ass and win a bunch of these races. I just don't think he should leapfrog 20 other people for it. Like,
see, it's like this has made it where his win a couple of years ago when he was just, Project 91, having a good time, it felt so much better because it's like, okay, cool. This cool guy got a win. That feels awesome. Yeah, you go. Some other similar wins that felt better back in the day when it was just, the traditional, I say the traditional chase, but you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that. Some wins that come to my mind. David Rudiman, Chicagoland 2010. All the Jamie McMurray 2010 wins.
David Rudiman
09 600. Paul Menard 2011 Brickyard 400. Wins
Marcus
like
Ambrose
that.
several times.
Yeah.
Marcus Ambrose is exactly who I want to talk about. If his career was so short, but if they had this schedule, this system, he would have been just as good of a fit as SVG is to stay longer than he did, because Marcus Ambrose was making noise on the road courses in Bristol randomly, but he was doing that when we literally just went to 2 road courses, Watkins Glen and Sonoma. That was it. That was all we went to. Had we had the insane amount of schedules and the win and you're in policy, Marcus Ambrose's career would have probably lasted a lot longer than it did.
Yeah, he was 1 year short of racing under the win and you're in format. And who knows, maybe Allmendinger doesn't win at Watkins Glen in 14. Maybe it's Ambrose.
God, man, he's literally 10 years short. I mean, that's basically not even 10, 5 at this point. 5 years was the difference on his end. But no, I mean, we can say all we want though about the playoffs or one way or another. SVG played by the rules he's in. That is what it is.
It's like you always look back. Oh, who would win the championship if we didn't have the playoffs? Well, they wouldn't race the same. That's what Jared always said in his videos when he would do those. They wouldn't race the same. So this is how they race. This is what we've been given. And SVG is in the playoffs. I think that's about all we can say on that part of it.
Yeah, there's plenty more we can definitely talk about. That's for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about Hocevar and Stenhouse first. Well, there's more to talk about Carson Hocevar later, but let's talk about him and Stenhouse to begin with. So, what's the deal? Or is this going to be that random rivalry that just Texas for the entire year somehow?
I hope so.
Probably. They're going to end up on a driver intro truck together one of these weeks. They're going to race around each other probably the rest of the year. And who knows, they may end up parked next to each other in the garage by being next to each other in points.
They're right next to each other in points. So, yeah.
I think they're actually like 1 point away from being tied in points too.
They are, yes. That's 3. Carson has 313. Ricky has 312 right now.
I'm just thinking, like, if Hocevar gets into Stenhouse one more time, and not like, it doesn't even have to be on purpose. Like, he's going to end up on the back of a milk carton at that rate because Ricky's going to kick his ass. Because we saw what Ricky Stenhouse did with Kyle Busch, and we know Kyle Busch is a scrapper. Now, let's be honest. He won that one. No offense to Carson, friend of the show. I'm sorry, a lanky kid like that is not going to go against, beefcake Stenhouse.
Carson has reach for sure and height, but Stenhouse works out a lot.
He better be
asking.
asking.
A former American Ninja Warrior. I would take him in a fight, even if Hocevar does have the vertical advantage.
He better be asking Ross for some advice on fights, because like I'm sorry, I would not want to be locked in a room for a minute with an angry Ricky Stenhouse, because I mean that the dude's jacked. Yeah, he's not as tall as Host or any of that, but like, and to be fair, I don't think Ricky's done anything wrong either. He has played this season. Ricky Stenhouse to me has been probably one of the cleanest. Just get what you can get out of your car. Don't overshoot it, and just maximize week by week, inch by inch. And Hocevar almost single-handedly this season has completely derailed that. Like a few weeks ago, we were talking about Stenhouse being the top 16 ahead of Priest.
Mm-hmm.
And now he is nowhere to be found, even on our graphic, that's going down on the bottom of the screen right now. So I don't blame him. And I'm a big fan of Carson. We've had Carson on the show. Like I said, friend of the show. But Carson, I don't care if it was an accident. Like he's, in my opinion, completely in the wrong. And wasn't he lapped down when the incident happened?
He was lapped down. Yes. He wasn't even racing Stenhouse for anything.
Yep.
Oh God, man, he has so much speed.
We were making jokes about Carson being a new intimidator when it feels like maybe he's a little intimidated by Stenhouse at the moment.
Maybe Stenhouse is the new intimidator.
I love that. Even in his apology to after what had happened in his fine, I love that he even goes, I might have to stay in the country to hide from Ricky.
By the way, hi Eric in the chat. He just said taking a mini vacation this week, chat. Just boarded a plane and was able to catch a few minutes of the show. Hope you all have a good time. Eric, we hope you have a good time.
This week is his PTA week. PTO week, I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've been around Riss too long.
Yeah, Eric's on holiday right now, which is fine because in a couple of weeks I will be out of the country and won't be able to be on. So
yeah, man. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say that, but
no, that's okay. That's not that big of a deal.
No, but I would not be surprised if at Chicago we see Carson Hocevar in the tire barriers. And he gets stuck there or whatever, or if it's multiple times he gets taken out. I would not be surprised whatsoever.
Eric said, wait, I'm getting paid time off? Well, technically you make money on YouTube every day. So every day is paid time off for you.
Passive income.
But yeah, get back on track a little bit. Hocevar and Stenhouse. I'll be interested to see how this goes. Pocono is the last track I think I'd want them to get into it, because very high-speed track. We've seen some big moments at Pocono. I'm hoping the heads will cool down just a little bit. But then we go to Atlanta. I'm like, this is a bad time to have beef, and y'all might want to get it together a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen beef happen at Pocono before. Tony Stewart and was it Carl Edwards and Clint Boyer all got together in 2006. That was crazy. Like that one was actually crazy and would probably have not flown today by any means. But I don't think it'll happen this week. I hope it doesn't happen this week. But
could be wrong.
I've seen. Listen, man. I've watched this sport over 20 years at this point, and I have seen crazier shit happen. So yeah. I'm not saying it's not gonna.
Peter, are you gonna be at Pocono this weekend?
I will not be at Pocono. The next race I'm at will be Atlanta in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Is Noah gonna be at Pocono by chance?
He thought about going, but I don't believe it'll work out timing wise. So we will both be in Atlanta next week.
We got to figure out what media person is going to be there that we can make sure people are following along on all their social feeds. I'm sure maybe Bob will be there for sure, and all the regulars. So stay tuned to one of those guys and just see if they see anything this weekend.
Watch they get into like a fight in the garage or something. That's where it gets squashed. Is like we'll just get it over with on Saturday.
Just they say, guys, we're gonna shut the garage doors, give you all 10 minutes, whatever happens.
Hold Ricky's watch.
But let's go through it a little bit more here. You know, the only person who I felt had somewhat of a good chance at beating SVG this weekend, things didn't go the way that they needed to. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Ty Gibbs almost had race winning speed this weekend, guys. I almost saw it.
I mean, I'd argue he did have race winning speed.
I would say he was best in class if you take SVG out of the equation.
Yeah.
And I think him running the Xfinity race helped him. They also ran into problems in that one. But he legitimately had a shot to win both races this weekend, I felt.
I mean, he had the strategy that was the right, I think the right strategy to get the win. Now, of course, SVG could have just been faster on speed and caught him.
Yeah.
We would never find out. But I mean, before that Hocevar caution came out, Ty Gibbs looked like he was the one in the catbird seat. And these opportunities have not come easy for him so far, and especially this year, but just in general, it has not come easy to Ty Gibbs to be in a winning position. He made up about
27 laps this weekend.
Yeah, he made up about as much as he could until the end when I think his car just fell off and he ended up 11th. But that 11th place was not indicative where he should have been. I think he had a better car than Bell, Elliott, Bowman. I mean, I guess the only one that might have been faster than SVG, as we found out at the very end, was Larson. But he was a little out of the equation at that point.
He's a little behind.
Just a little bit.
Thinking of that, as soon as that wreck happened, I saw Larson's car literally hopping with the wheel. Looked like it was busted, like he's done.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, now that you have the damaged vehicle policy the way it is, now that you have the bonus point that's there, drivers can go out and try and get that. And it's not exactly the same, but it's still, I do like that because it's similar to what I grew up with, where I always think of that 2009 Dega race where Harvick and Gordon are fighting for 37th, 52 laps off the pace, but there's always something to fight for. But going back to Ty Gibbs, like I do actually feel bad for Ty Gibbs because other than like a few streaks here or there, that 54 team has been on the struggle bus all season long. And honestly, for the better part of last year on top of that.
I think it was however many races to end last year. And then to start this year, they've had, I think it was not a finish better than 25th. So they really did have a terrible streak to end last year and got just no momentum going this year until I think it was Bristol, his first breakout run of the year.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, he's nowhere. Like if you watch the ticker, he's nowhere on this. We'll have in a bit the cut line graphic up. He's nowhere near that. Like he's in must. I think there's a couple. I think this week actually might be one where he could actually sneak a win in. Like he's been pretty good, and Gibbs has been pretty good at Pocono.
Let's see. I looked at this earlier. Let me look up Pocono finish.
Now, remember, last year is going to weigh everything down because he had the Nesquik coming out of his tailpipes at one point, or was it last year?
Yeah.
Like the chocolate milk, the forbidden chocolate milk.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So don't look at last year. But in 2023, Ty Gibbs did finish 5th. He finished 5th behind Kevin Harvick, Truex, Reddick, and Hamlin. 2 of those guys no longer race.
And for what it's worth, he has more experience at Pocono than any track in Cup because he did run here in 2022 as well. Granted, different team, different everything, but laps are still laps.
God, I completely forgot that.
Speaking of, him having a good run when they need to, and you're talking about the cutoff line a little bit. Bell and Elliott both got good finishes, 2nd and 3rd, but let's talk a little bit about Bowman.
Take your victory, buddy.
After 3 just awful, god awful weeks, he surprises us with randomly showing he has good road course speed again. He gets a 4th place finish, exactly what the doctor ordered, and that bumps him up a little bit more in the standings. Is it still panic time for Bowman, or did they maybe catch themselves a little bit?
String it together. They've had moments like this in the past, and this bad string it together. So I'm still on the panic button.
They stopped the bleeding for a week. Show me what you can do at Pocono. At least run all the laps clean.
He finished 3rd here last year, so that's just
he did. Yes,
this
has been a great track for him. Obviously, the win in the old car here. Granted, circumstances happened to make that reality, but regardless, he was in position for a good day there. Show me a good result at Pocono, and then I'll be more willing to believe that Bowman's a race winning contender.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I mean, he's pretty good at these road courses, right? And there's some road courses coming up. There's some other tracks he's been pretty decent at. But I need to see that team string it together because, we've been like in the what's wrong with Elliott bin, and you see on the bottom plus 146 for Elliott versus plus 22 for Bowman.
Yeah.
And I do think the law of averages can swing back into the 48's corner just because a Hendrick car cannot be finishing sub 27th that many times before it finally it goes back, right? But to me, nothing's proven until he can have a couple good weeks in a row and start building up that line. And plus, on top of that, we got super speedways, road courses, strategy tracks. They're all in this string coming up these last 10 races. Like, I don't even think building up too much more of a gap even will be that good. I think the only ones gap wise, and we'll talk about them, Biz, Elliott, and Reddick. I think they're the only ones I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with them. Plus over 100 points, all that. The rest of them, that line's going to be fluid and moving all summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still a little iffy. Not a little. I'm very iffy on the 48 still.
Rounding out the top 5, finishing exactly where he started, Jarrett McDowell Supremacy getting the top 5.
Yes, he's up in the conversation now. I think he's like 18th. There he is, right there. There he goes, 18th on the grid. McDowell Supremacy.
So good for Michael McDowell. It's good to see him getting a top 5. He was my pick last week. Still, we all picked really good for the most part, but I was still third of the 4 picks last week.
Hey, it's tough, man. At one point during this race, our picks were 1, 2, 3, 4. Like,
yeah,
we have been killing it lately. I think there's a couple like the last 3 weeks where our picks are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 5, 7.
Yep.
Like, just saying, it's stiff competition.
Yep.
We'll find out later tonight who's leading that, who's last, who's all that.
We will see how that all cycles out later. But also some other good finishes before we kind of wrap up the talk of the Cup race here. John Hunter Nemechek getting a 6th place finish, and Cole Custer. Yes, Cole Custer exists. He got 8th place.
Hey, that's the road courses, man. Solid finishes, whether it be strategy or speed.
We've seen this type of legacy that they've been putting quality cars, usually it's only one, not both, but a quality car on the track more weeks than not this year. We saw Eric Jones, I think, get a top 5 in Nashville, and JHN, he needed something to go in his favor this year.
Yep.
Obviously, a very driver talent heavy track here. That's a big signal in the right direction.
Yeah, and that's improvement at this point. Like, we've wanted to see Legacy do something, and now they're actually doing something. Like, even if it's one car out of the 2 each week, I'll take it over them both running like 28th and 29th every week.
And side note, one more person I'm going to shout out. After going in his Ryan Newman era and getting pole awards for the last 3 weeks and getting horrible finishes afterwards, Chase Briscoe does the opposite. He starts 19th and he finishes 7th. He finally had the reverse happen, and that was a good thing for him.
Well, and there were a few others that ran well and didn't get the finishes, and 2 that I want to kind of at least mention because I think they deserve at least a mention. Ty Dillon ran really well, didn't get the finish he deserved. And while he had a
sweating the predictioner,
I'd say, man, Ty Dillon, he's gonna get. I think he'll get a top 10 by the end of the year. I there's a reason I made that prediction. I need to counteract yours.
He still ended up finishing worse than Catherine Legg.
True. The other one I wanted to mention, and I know he made a brain dead decision during this race. Another one that damn near ruined Stenhouse's race. Riley Herbst was running top 15 in a lot of this race. And yeah, I know, hang the banner. Riley Herbst is running where, below where the rest of his teammates ran or finished. But, that's the improvement I want to see too out of him. I want to see him start running top 15 instead of running 30th.
You guys know those wrecks that happened at Watkins Glen in 2008, 2009, and 2010. Those big track blockers we saw back then. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were inches away from that happening again of Riley Herbst and Ricky Stenhouse. Actually,
such a dumb move.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a blind portion of the track for the spotters, right?
Yep.
It was
I
at
think it
least
was, yeah.
obstructed because it was at a weird angle from
So
the stadium.
they were all flying off that turn, off that. Is it a hill right there? Is it a hill or is it just a weird turn?
I think it's
I
just
guess-
a weird turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just
But yeah, that was
Mhm.
almost like the Watkins Glen Rex. It looked like.
that would have been on the blooper reels forever.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be LePage bad, but it'd be damn close. It'd be like Pauly Haraka bad.
Yep.
It'd be Danica Landing Castle bad. It'd be up
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
I would put it in that. So like he better walk up and shake Ricky Stenhouse's hand, because I think it was more Stenhouse than him just gunning it out of the way that not caused that wreck.
It
If
would
he
have been.
Stenhouse, he maybe met with a knuckle sandwich or two, though.
Yeah.
I'll help you beat up Hocevar if you don't beat up me.
Yeah, it's like, look, I'll hold Carson down if we can squash this.
Oh man, dude, it was a not just a race, it was a weekend, man. This weekend was interesting.
And what I kept seeing from majority of the people who were there, it looked like it was a good event. It looked like most everyone had fun. A few exceptions to that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I don't know. I kind of just felt like I had some FOMO of this one more so than the Chicago races. I felt like I saw, especially like a few people I know from the media world. Matt Weaver was going out. I think he went out with him and Jerry Jordan from Kicking the Tires were out and about. They went to lucha, some lucha wrestling, like CWLL or CWWL or whatever it was. It was authentic Mexican luchador wrestling. I know he likes wrestling, and it just looked like a good time was had by a lot of people while they were there. It was like, yes, it's the sport you go cover, but you're also having fun and enjoying the culture of the area. So I saw a lot of people doing that, and kind of had some FOMO to it a little bit.
Oh, I definitely did too. And I've had FOMO both years of Chicago, knowing I have family up in Chicago too. So in a couple of weeks, missing that will also hurt. But the budget does have a limit.
CMLL, Urban Alvarado, correct me. That was the name of the wrestling group that he was at.
See, for me, like I haven't been to the Chicago street race, right? Like usually in the Chicago street races is like the one weekend of the year, which is 4th of July weekend, where it's like me and the family just want to blow up the entire backyard, even though it's technically illegal in Illinois, but screw that state.
No one
hate
needs to
Illinois.
know.
I mean, now there was once, okay, off on a little tangent. There was once we blew up so many fireworks in my grandpa's backyard, and a cop like stopped on the corner and just watched. And as soon as our finale ended, then drove away. Like he was just a cool dude that was just watching some fireworks.
Yeah, we have a similar story that basically happened to us too.
How the hell do you live in America and make fireworks illegal? Stupid Illinois. It's a reason I moved. But I've not been. So
HOAs, man. HOAs.
It's just the state. The state of Illinois banned fireworks, and I hate it. I hate it, man. But that's like one of the few weekends I'm like, I'm not going to go to a race unless like Chicagoland comes back next year on that weekend. Like I'm not going to a race. So like I've watched both on TV, and I got a similar feeling out of both, at least like the pre-race, especially, and kind of how grand people were really making it or trying to make it. Like it felt very similar in that respect. And then the rain coming in too, like the first half of this race from the start of the broadcast to about the end of stage 2, I was like, this feels to me just like the first year of the Chicago street race. Like it has that similar feel. I guess it ended out the same way as the first year of the Chicago street race, just a little more belt to ass.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope they come back next year. I do. I don't know if they will, just because everything's so fluid right now, and we'll find out probably in a month or two. But I do. I hope they come back next year, and I hope that they get some pretty good weather on top of it. I feel like we're just having the same talking points as that Chicago race. The more I keep going back to it, but
not that the weather was horrendous. I mean, I think it was some worse rain at the start of everyone being in town, but then the race we had a little rain, but not that bad.
Well, so it sounds like it'll be on a different weekend next year if it is back on the schedule. And I know I had someone text me that IndyCar is aiming for like an April date, so I don't know if it'd be around the Easter weekend or not, or if they've have another bye week or something in there somewhere. It'll be interesting to see where they put it at that point.
Yeah.
I'd be very, I'd be very intrigued on where it would go. I just, the more I look at the date and the travel and all of the dates around it, and it's like the meme I've been seeing is like, that they really wanted Montreal on that date. And they're like,
Yep.
shit, we got to go to Mexico from Michigan.
Yeah.
Because like, if you look at how it's spread out right now, if they had went up to Montreal, it'd be like Michigan up to Montreal and then down to Pocono. It would logistically would have been just fine.
I will say though, I asked not gonna say the name or else it will light up. I asked my phone what the temperature was down there, and I was like, oh, it's like 20 degrees cooler down there than it is here in Tennessee. So I didn't realize, I guess it's the higher elevation. But,
Right. They're 5 times at least higher up
yeah.
above sea level than you are.
I'm gonna get rid of this because I think we got a graphic we can finally start putting up at this time of year. Danny.
So there's 10 races to go. Let's talk a little bit about the playoffs. Bubba Wallace is 57 points to the good. Chase Briscoe 39. Alex Bowman bumps himself up plus 22. And Chris Buescher, we now have a little bit more definitive line here compared to last week. Chris Buescher is 19 points good. Ryan Preece, his teammate, 19 points back. Michael McDowell, 43 points back. AJ Allmendinger, 45 points back. And Kyle Busch now looking a lot more distant at minus 50 back.
I'm going to say
Kyle Busch was tied, granted 17th, but still tied, and he lost 50 points in 1 week.
He was
part of the cut line moving up with SVG, but still.
He was in the playoffs just a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Just shows how much fluid the points can be.
It's also what happens if you play bowling with Kyle Larson too.
Yep.
Jared, if you can put that graphic back up, I just want to ask y'all, who do you feel safest about right now looking at this as far as them currently in making it or further back making it? If I have to pick one that I feel has a shot to make it in that's not in right now, I would probably say AJ Allmendinger, just because we do have a few more road courses coming up. If I have to pick one I feel safe about up at the top, I think it's just Bubba Wallace, honestly.
I would agree with you on the Bubba Wallace front, just because I don't know what to think yet of Chase Briscoe. I don't trust Bowman. Buescher is one that I could put up there with him. The penalty is really what gets in the way, but performance-wise, he's been closer, I think, to Bubba Wallace. Of those outside, honestly, I don't trust really any of them. Because I like AJ, yeah, there's the road courses, but Colleague's been off. McDowell, I just don't think has enough to beat an SVG or one of the top guys like a Larson that'd be up there either. Kyle Busch, oof. And then I just don't think Preece has the speed to go up and get wins right now.
Yeah.
You more or less took all my talking points from me. I agree with Bubba more than likely being safe. And yeah, everyone who's currently below the cut line, I don't know if I trust any of them to win. Yeah, AJ's won our road courses before, but I mean, it's more or less do or die for him. And I don't think he's the best under high pressure situations.
No, not at all. I honestly think that we're going to get somebody new, though. I don't know who. I don't know if it'll be any of those four. I still think we're going to get somebody. I feel like we are so due for a rain-out underdog winner.
Well, I still have to know, like, he went 3 weeks in a row. He was very close. We're just not in the part of the schedule that plays into his wheelhouse. But we will have more coming up at some point, talking about Carson Hocevar, that I still feel like he could get a win. Both Jarrett and I had him on our original list of people that could win. I won't even count him out for Pocono this weekend, just seeing the kind of season they've had. I won't count him out entirely for Dover. But other than that, maybe not Watkins Glen, but Daytona definitely is one you got to watch out for a person like him. Plenty more chances that someone on the outside that's showing like they have good speed, like Carson, could sneak a win.
Yeah, man, I mean, Suarez has been pretty good in the past at road courses and Atlanta as well, or Echo Park. Strategy races too. I mean, there's plenty of strategy races the rest of the way through this. I personally now would consider Richmond a strategy race. I think that And I honestly don't think that's a bad thing, especially after how it raced like the 10, 15 years before this.
Yep.
I consider that one, I think there's a lot more wild cards to go in this. And I still think we have one or two more that are somewhere down there that win. I don't know if it's any of these bottom four. It could be,
Yep.
but it could be. I would trust, I think, Hocevar or even a weird Suarez win popping up rather than the four of them at this point.
I almost feel more confident about Ty Gibbs sagging a road course than any of those four getting a win over the next 10.
Ty could get it this
That's
week.
true.
I mean, he really could. I don't have him on my big board for picks later tonight, but he was one of those, like I usually each week when I have like 3 to 4 to 5 to choose from, there's always like one or two that I'm like, oh, I guess I'll have to keep them off. Ty Gibbs is for me on that list. Like he is in my fast 5-6 drivers this week.
Yeah. Huh?
I know it's weird to hear. I know we haven't really said that since he was basically an Xfinity Series driver, but I would not count him out.
It's good though to. Oh, by the way, someone said, by the way, Ty won a poll last year. I forgot that. And then shortly after had chocolate milk.
Hey, maybe they get a Nesquik sponsorship soon.
It's a lost opportunity if they don't. Speaking of lost opportunities, let's talk about TV coverage. Did they have a lost opportunity to get viewers or not this weekend? And the short answer is kind of yeah. Cup Series got 2.10 million viewers this weekend, but it is the youngest NASCAR audience since 2017. The average prime viewership is 56 compared to the usual 62 for Fox. And we don't have anything to go off of comparing this race because, well, this is the first time this race ever happened. So 2.10 million viewers has set the bar for Mexico City Cup races. The Xfinity Series also showed the worst viewership of the entire season, 868,000 viewers. We were holding good over 1 million for so long, and now we are very low. So I have to ask, is this because it's in Mexico? Is this other things? What do we think?
I do think the ratings this weekend could be taken with a bit of an asterisk because of the U.S. Open. One of golf's major events was on against both races this weekend.
It's fair.
I'd also argue on the Xfinity front, the big thing with the Xfinity Series had going for it early this year, and I think a big part of why they had that continuous over 1 million viewership was because there were really no bye weeks for them. They were continuous, whereas trucks had time off, Cup had a race off. And then May is that point where they kind of get a bunch of break times, and then you have the break at Michigan and stuff like that. So I think not having the continuity probably has hurt too. I think historically, when you look at the Cup ratings, continuity always helps them. To why this year, when I saw they were going to have one bye week, I'm like, hell yeah, we're good. We're gonna maximize this contract the best we can. And I think that's kind of what Xfinity did to start the year. So I'd be curious once they start having like 3, 4, 5, 6 races in a row again. I think to the end of the summer, they have very rarely do they have an off week in there. I think like Richmond is like the next one or something like that.
That's true.
So I'd be very curious if it comes back up too, especially with the lack of competition for a lot of those weeks as well. So I won't panic too much because it's still way better, I would say, overall than it was last year.
Yeah.
We're also in that weird time of the schedule where there's not much pro sports competition. Hockey just wrapped up last night. Basketball will probably wrap up tomorrow. So there's just not a lot of other professional sports happening on weekends.
College World Series is about to wrap up. Exactly. So there's about to be a few less sports to watch until we get the football season here soon.
Yeah, it's
and we don't have Olympics like we did last year.
Baseball and NASCAR, and but that's that dog days of summer. It's why better have some damn good races coming up. I trust the Xfinity Series to have some good racing though. Like,
yeah,
we'll get to the Pocono stuff when we get to it, but I think they'll have some pretty good racing this weekend.
Well, speaking of good racing, what did our audience think? It's time to talk about the famous iceberg poll.
Yeah, go for it. Let me pull up the overall stuff for you while you're reading it.
Yep. So we had 12,000 votes on this one. 26% of you guys said this was a great race. 56% said it was good, giving this race an 82% net positivity. 13% of people said it was average, and 5% said it was a negative race.
Yeah. So I was looking through, and we have now went 5 weeks in a row with 81 or 80, I should say, or higher percent positivity from Wilkesboro, of course, the 600 in Michigan, and then Nashville being the lowest of those, which is interesting because we started the year from Bowman Gray until Homestead like that. And then we had that really bad string of races or so. The interesting part, I will say, hang the banner. It is the top rated cup race at Mexico on the poll ever.
Yeah.
When it comes to the road courses, though, this is the interesting part on my end when I was looking through. So of the road courses all time polled on this poll, it is 10th of 32. It is right between 2021's Clash, which I was at, and that wasn't really good until the very end, at least in my opinion. And then the 2021 Roval race. Those are the two that are around it each way. It is second of the two road courses run this year, as holy crap, Coda this year was actually the second ranked road course ever on our poll.
Oh, wow.
So it's stiff competition on that one. I like the poll, Danny.
Yeah. I just want to say what chicken wins.
I had a chicken for dinner tonight, chicken of the sea, tuna.
I had birria pizza from Tailgate.
I will probably go to Chick-fil-A for lunch tomorrow.
Let's go. Let's look at the comments for the poll while we're at it. The first comment, is it positive, negative, meme, or a mix of both? What do you guys think?
What's the name? You got to tell us the name.
The ultimate KFB fan.
Then negative if he's a KFB fan.
I'm going to go meme on this one.
He said, I thought it was a decent race. The first 2/3 were great. The end dragged my rating down. I was rooting for Suarez because I could see how much this meant to him during the anthems. I was hoping he'd get the win, but it didn't happen. So I'd say
It's
positive.
a very serious, positive response. We don't usually get those.
As for the comments on the poll, Noah Coleman says, last time in Mexico, Kyle Busch carried a weapon. This time in Mexico, he became the weapon.
Oh my gosh.
Nathan here says, early chaos didn't get incredibly stupid. Shane put on a masterclass. I thoroughly enjoyed today's race. I enjoyed it too, honestly. Random Goose says, new rule. At the end of every stage at road courses, SVG has to be sent to the back of the grid to make it interesting. I still think he could win. Arizona Sports Stooge says, I absolutely loved it. One of the best road course races of the next gen era. Aaron Larson says Road America would have been better. I love Road America in person, but on TV. See, this thing, I never watched a Road America Cup race on TV. So I don't know how it looked on TV. All I have to
facility in person.
It's so damn fun in person.
Did you ever get to go there, Peter?
No, that's still on my bucket list to get to one of these days.
They got to bring it back. If they do, you got to go, man. It's
If they bring it back, I'd make a point to get up there.
And you got to go by there's a little stand that sells cheese curds. They're good.
Yes, it's like right on the top of the hill,
nice.
Towards the last corner. It's where a bunch of the spotters stay there too. I have never been at a racing crowd that big. Granted, I've never been to the Indy 500, so I can excuse this, but I've never been to a racing crowd that big, like over 100,000 people, where like over half the people didn't know a damn thing about NASCAR. They were just a fan of the track. I've never been to something like that, and it was so fucking fun.
And if you would like to know what a race is like at Road America, you can check out the vlog here on Danny B Talks from the last race that ever ran at Road America.
I don't think I could tell half the stories that I know from Road America from either of those trips, especially when when we got over there, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. He's probably going to hate me for saying this. When we got over there, we went to the Kink. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. We go over there, and there's Slap and Rusty and Cody H. And Slap is like 10 Heinekens deep at 10 a.m. He's like, dude, you gotta see it, man. They're going too wide the freaking kink. I'm just like, hey, good to see you too, man. Like he was on it that weekend.
Slapping the kink is like, it's his kink. What can I say?
Dude, he is in love with the kink. Going back to the comments here, OPO here says the last 5 cars were estimated to reach the finish line just after dawn on Monday morning. Fair. It reminds me of that one where we're like, hey, the Arby's car just passed the line. It's Wednesday night. Josh here says, like every NASCAR race this year. Shit. So not all positive this week.
Mhm.
To the 3 gutter comments. These are the
I was
fun ones.
gonna say that wasn't in the gutter.
No, that wasn't. No, I actually scrolled a long way down.
Oh gosh, if that wasn't even a gutter,
From
the
the-
gutter is gonna be rough.
Yvonne says that was terrible. 18-second lead for the win. Road courses are absolutely terrible. NASCAR, get your head out of your asses, and you're losing fans every time you race road courses. Get a life.
Get a life.
I know.
Where'd that come from? Get a life.
The chronically online are fun tonight.
Wait,
Mhm.
what'd you say that name was?
Yvonne.
Sounds like an old lady name.
Big Jack says this one race was better than any of the Chicagoland races ever combined.
Oh well, I can see why that's in the gutter.
Yeah.
God, I'd make sure that was in the gutter. You know what? This is how you know I'm a free speech person, is I'm letting those comments stay on my channel as a Chicagoland truther.
Mhm.
And then Ming454 left. Damn, I forgot how long this comment was. I would give it a 7 or 8 out of 10 at first, but this caution happened and it became a snooze fest with the worst possible winner. I hate this race. It's the worst race of the year for me. P.S. I don't hate SVG, but him being in the championship battle is not even funny. How would it be? God damn, these run-on sentences. Somebody or something like where it just sad that such talentless team performance will get more credit and season money than many teams who actually performed in more than 1 or 2 races. Would be a 6 out of 10 if the system didn't ruin it. 2 out of 10. I don't freaking know.
That was quite the dissertation.
That was a lot.
Yeah. You believe I write this crap every week? I copy these comments down every damn week.
To the last commenter who left us the book, I'll just say one thing to quote one of our other comments. Get a life.
TLDR. TLDR.
TLDR, get a life. Just kidding. I'm sure they have a good life.
That should, I don't know. They're leaving books on the internet. Are they really? Like, just saying. Yeah, I do actually take, people are shocked. I do actually, and Eric brought this up when we did the in-person show. I actually do copy
paste this into a document.
Yeah. I like having something that I can write down in, middle of the night on a Sunday, Monday, whatever I have time.
I dig it. It's old school.
Well, my thing is like at some point technology fails me.
Mhm.
I got the paper. I got the paper copy. Just like with picks, just like all of that. I can take it with me. I can touch it. It's there.
Yep.
I think we got one more race to talk about, don't we? Maybe.
Yep, the Xfinity Series race, where I got a prediction wrong very, very badly.
I know.
I wasn't bad for the Cup race, but I was so badly wrong to doubt him in the Xfinity race. And for a little bit, I felt good about this when he crashed his primary car in practice, but Daniel Suarez.
Didn't you put a tweet out being like, or no, you put something in our chat?
In our chat. It's like, I feel really good about that prediction now. And then I made it, and then immediately after the race is over, I was like, I feel pretty bad about that prediction now.
But that was pretty cool though. Like
was it cooler that they only had the all black backup car, or would it have been cooler in the green Quaker State machine?
I've gone back and forth on this because for the sake of the race version diecast, that green Quaker State scheme would have looked cool, but also it just makes the story that much cooler that he wrecked the primary. They scrambled to get the car ready, barely made the grid, drove all the way from the back to the front, won in front of his home country fans.
Yeah, to me, I actually like. I do think that the matte black it makes it cooler, just because I believe, wasn't it like he was. God, there's like some stat of him being like coming from last to first, and like that hasn't happened at a road course or something
Right.
like
This is the
that.
first time ever in a
Yeah.
NASCAR road race.
So it's like, that to me, that symbolizes that part of it. And then him winning in his hometown country. Like, I get people are upset because I don't want to see a Leach beat the kids and all of that. And I get that most of the time, but I'll fully admit I'm a hypocrite. A lot of the times I can be a sucker for a good story. And to
Mhm.
me, like,
When a driver's
that's a
not
good
won a
story.
lot in the Cup Series, I'm kind of okay if they go down and get a
Yeah.
win down there. Like if Austin Dillon showed up in an Xfinity Series car tomorrow and won, I would feel okay with that.
I don't feel like most people would because it's Austin Dillon, but like I get the point. I'm
Okay,
with you.
yeah, yeah,
But if back in the day, if like Paul Menard went down there and won, nobody would bat an eye, right?
yeah, and he did do that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about Suarez. It's like he doesn't win all that much. Like it wasn't like he was handed the race either. Like it just opened up perfectly for him. But at the
Right,
same time, I mean that 54 was on his ass at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw several people saying that had he done anything to him, it would have been like
He wouldn't have left the country.
Yeah.
he would have. You know all the pictures you saw of the Mexican army, police, whoever they were, in the trucks surrounding all the haulers coming in. They
Mhm.
would have needed twice that amount of security for him.
Probably. And Taylor did say post race he just wanted to let Suarez know he was there. He had no intentions of actually turning him.
It's like I will never say a race is rigged, but I will say, just like Taylor Gray, Joey Logano in 2010 at Daytona in the Nationwide Series race wouldn't have done anything in the world to try and pass the car that was in front of him during that race.
Joey Logano in 2025 would, but yeah, Joey Logano in
Yeah.
2010 knew better.
That was just past fire suit in the family, Joey. So like he still had some growing to do there. But I just, how many times do we get to see somebody win in their hometown country? And it's not America, like in the NASCAR Cup Series, in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck. You don't see that in the top 3 series of NASCAR. So to me, like, I get the issues people have with it, but I really don't. Like, I like having feel good stories, because I feel like, at least in my opinion, we don't get as many of these kind of stories in NASCAR anymore. We don't get those feel good stories like we used to. So I'll take them where I can get them.
Absolutely. I agree.
Just a couple other things here. Suarez does get the win, but we did see Connor Zilisch, Ty Gibbs, and more get out of contention in the Big Rick. It just kind of plays into similar what we've seen a little bit in the Cup race, just the wrong place, wrong time, and just like that, guys are out of it.
Right. They definitely established themselves as the 2 best cars. I think one of them ran away in one stage, one in the other. So that restart to start stage 3 was in essence do or die, and they just either would outbreak the other into turn 1, turn 2, whichever corner that was.
And real quick, I'm just throwing this out there too. It's kind of ironic that Suarez wins this one, because we see something go wrong for Zilisch in his series. Suarez wins the race, and vice versa. The Cup Series race, the guy that they took a big risk on, SVG, he gets the win. He's in the playoffs. Now suddenly it's a fight. Okay, are we ready to put Zilisch up the Cup, or do we want to wait and keep going with Suarez a little longer?
God, that's the interesting part of like the whole Trackhouse thing is I can see a good argument for Zilisch being put up there. I could see I don't think as good an argument to keep Suarez in, other than the fact of Zilisch might just need another year to cook. And I think that's about it. Like, that's the only way I can really look at it, because Suarez this year has been not very good. Like, that it's just not been very good this year for what the expectation actually is for him and for that team. And Zilisch on the other end seems to get better every week. You know, I think his biggest test until they get to the playoffs is going to be this week with Dale Earnhardt Jr. as his crew chief, because I don't know how good Dale Jr. will be as a crew chief.
Real quick, Logan King. We'll get the super chats a little later, but Logan King left $1.99 said, "Just join. Eric looks different this week." Hey, we did bring in a guy with glasses at least. So,
What are your opinions on Matt Kenseth?
Well, I was a Tony Stewart fan as a kid, so they weren't
Ooh.
always the best, but I respect Matt Kenseth for what he did nowadays.
I was about to say, we as a Stewart fan, we have found the anti-Eric. It's like Eric. I remember Eric being on the show. He's like, Tony Stewart was like the one driver I didn't like, and I've never been able to be partial on until recently. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Tell me more.
but before we move on, let's talk just a little bit about the cut line 40 Xfinity
Do we lose Danny? We lost
series real
Danny.
quick. There is 11 races to go in that series. Huh?
Danny, we lost you, and then it sped back up. So on our end, you looked like a dude from a Godzilla movie where you talked, and then your lips didn't move, and you kept talking.
That's funny. It does that every now and again, and it's like I'm unaware it's even happening. I'm just sitting there talking like la 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 la, and all of a sudden I hear Danny. I'm like, what I do?
What? All right, here we go. Let's try this again.
Yeah, let's try this again. Carson Quaffle, you are 9th, 35 points to the good. Jeb Burton, Wad's son, he is 23 points to the good. Harrison Burton, Jeff's son, is 3 points to the good. And Taylor Gray, of course, he got second this past week. There is currently a tie. He has a tiebreaker, though, above Ryan Sieg. And Nick Sanchez is hanging out there 15 points back. This is a lot more interesting of who we think can get these final spots here. I will say, compared to I don't know what we saw in the past of Haley Deegan, Harrison Burton has really surprised me in that equipment.
I have to admit, I'm rooting for him a little bit. Like I like the storyline of him, being demoted. Let's just be honest. He was completely demoted in just about every way. And to come out here and I think actually overachieve in that car. I want to see him do well. I do. Yeah. I want to see him make it in. I just doubt, whether or not, there's so many different guys out there that could win, have shown the ability to win. That 25 has not. That's my big question with him.
That 25 more weeks than not is a solid 8th to 12th or so car. I feel like that's usually good enough to at least make the Xfinity playoffs. But like you said, a surprise winner or two, and he's having sleepless nights.
Now, of the Xfinity series, the race is still remaining for this series before we get to the playoffs. Pocono, Echo Park, formerly known as Atlanta, the Chicago Street Race, Sonoma, Dover, Indianapolis, Iowa, Watkins Glen, Daytona, and Portland International Raceway, and Worldwide Technology Raceway, aka Gateway, will be the cutoff race. So quite a good collection of tracks that the Xfinity Series will still go to. It definitely helps Harrison Burton that he won the Cup Series race at Daytona last year. So that could be the one. It's not the last race to get in, but it's one of the last few. He could be one to watch for when we get to Daytona to find a way to get himself another win and get in there.
To me, he's kind of like how Stenhouse was early this year, where it's just he's to stay out of trouble. He doesn't get in much trouble, doesn't get crashed too often, and they generally get the best or a little over the best of what that car probably should get. And I think my question for him, and I think for a lot of these guys, Jeb Burton, I think is in the kind of the same boat, maybe a little better, is can you keep that going for 11 more races? Can you keep out of trouble, other people's stuff? Could you sneak up and get a win? And who below that line could sneak out and get a win too? Because I think when I look at this and I see there's a Gibbs car right on that cut line and there's another one that's way down the list, I'm just like, it doesn't make me feel easy for anyone that's above that line.
Yeah. Yeah, and we saw Sawalich randomly have speed at Nashville Super Speedway, so you never know. Just what I keep saying, especially Sawalich, he's in a Gibbs car. You never know what can happen with one of those guys. And I saw someone ask, is Bristol not the cutoff race like it usually has been? Nope, it's not this year. The Food City 300 is actually the first race of the Xfinity Series playoffs. This is actually probably a nicer lineup, I think, because it goes the first round of the Xfinity Series playoffs, Bristol, Kansas, Roval. 3 entirely different tracks. Then the round of 8, Las Vegas, Talladega, Martinsville. Again, 3 very different tracks. So I like that mix. And then we go into the championship race at Phoenix.
Talladega, then Martinsville back to back. That is just murderer's row for anyone around the cut line.
Yeah, that's true.
That
Whoever
might be
wins
one.
in Vegas that trophy will be worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
for
wouldn't be
sure.
surprised if somebody who got like 5 stage points in both races and finished 10th in both races made it in just because they didn't crash.
I won't be shocked if Austin Hill wins Vegas, Jesse Love wins Talladega.
I mean, you've gotten playoff predictions correct. I had my queue a few days ago. Our buddy Ellie Productions, his video on the playoffs came up, and I was like, I saw it pop up, but as I was loading, and so I went and I was working out, and the first voice I hear in the video is Danny's, and I'm like, thought I was listening to an Ellie production video. It was he had put 3 weeks ago, and it's Danny going, Joey Logano will win this race and win the championship. And then it goes 3 weeks later, and it shows the date. Joey Logano is a 3-time champion.
I did not know about that. I haven't had a chance to see that, so I will go watch that one afterwards.
Yeah, I love it because it's just like Danny B knows.
By the way,
basically it said Danny B knows.
By the way, Jared, just a heads up. We are actually moments away from being in our own actual lightning round. We are actually in a severe thunderstorm warning right now. Just wanted you to know that.
I'm pulling. Oh, damn. That's a murderer's row of
that come out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting that tonight. So this is going to be fun.
See, I thought it was I heard a rumble earlier, and I thought it was my neighbor starting up like their muscle car. No, it was wonderful. Well, good to know. So I guess we should probably.
I'm going to open my blinds up so I can maybe enjoy seeing the lightning when it comes here in a second. Oh, yeah, it's getting windy and everything right now.
I love how the chat thinks we actually are starting the lightning round, and we're not. Like we're just like.
No, I'm being serious. We're actually not to the lightning round yet. We're close, but we're not there yet.
You want to do it's a kind of unorthodox show. You want to go a little out of order this week, Danny?
Yeah, I'm feeling wacky. I'm feeling crazy. I want to have some fun. Let's have fun, guys. Let's have fun early since we don't want to keep Peter here all night.
All right. What do you want to do? Well, what's so wacky?
You know what? I'm in the mood for random driver. Let's do random driver early tonight, guys. Yeah, you didn't expect that this early. Bye, chat. I got to hide you. Good see you later.
All righty. And yeah, Peter, if you can hide the chat too.
Yeah.
So to catch everybody up at home, yeah, we are going to go out of order a little bit this week, a 1 week deal.
Only because Eric's not here and we're not going to keep Peter on the entire show tonight. So we want to get this one out of the way as fast as we can.
In a fun way. So
the thunderstorm's a hint. Is it Lightning McQueen? Just kidding.
The couple things here. So all time right now, Eric and Danny are separated by 1. Eric leads Danny 23-22. I believe I am tied with the guests 6-6. I've gotten right 6 times and guests have. So Peter, if you win tonight.
So I have a chance to get an undefended victory over Eric, and Peter has a chance to get the guests above Jarrett for once.
Nice.
And I have a chance to definitively be third on the board. Over the last couple of weeks, it's been a streaky time. Eric got the last 2 with Chase Briscoe and Christian Fittipaldi, and I stumped the panel with Hutch Strickland, Jody Ridley, and Tiny Lund. All right, let's get this going. Let me make sure I get the sounders ready too, because I don't want to miss that again. All right, this random driver is a Washington native.
I don't know.
Is that Washington State or Washington, D.C.?
State.
Got it.
This random driver is a 3rd-generation driver. This random driver started racing go-karts at the age of 9. By the way, there are 26 clues tonight. So got
Okay.
3 picks to burn. This random driver helped earn 50 wins and 20 poles for their team in karting.
I
Was
wouldn't
part
know
of
much
that.
about that.
This random driver actually set karting track records in 5 of 6 tracks in their local region.
Okay, I got a guess to burn.
Let's
Whoa.
go.
Casey Kane.
Casey Kane is wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
a
don't even
lot
know
of
where I don't even know where Casey's from.
I knew he's from Washington, but yeah, I didn't think he had
But
a
he
karting
did
background.
say third generation. I don't know of any other Canes besides him.
Yeah, definitely not in NASCAR, but I don't know. I think his dad may have done dirt racing.
This random driver was featured on CBS's The Early Show at 15 years old as a late model driver.
Wasn't always watching the early show, so
No worry, neither was I. This random driver made 14 career starts in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
okay, that might start to help more.
Up, I hear the thunder.
And the thunder rolls.
This random driver also made 18 career truck starts.
Okay, is there gonna be a caveat? They do more in Cup, I wonder.
This random driver has 1 career top 10 in all of their NASCAR starts.
So kind of sucks.
This random driver's top 10 was in the trucks. This random driver's average finishes are 32.8 in Xfinity and 24.2 in trucks.
24 point what?
2.
Yeah, they're pretty well dookie.
Yeah.
This random driver also never finished on the lead lap in any of their ARCA starts.
They weren't even good in ARCA.
This random driver raced in Chevys, Fords, Toyotas, and Dodges.
Chevy, Ford, Dodge, and what?
Chevy, Ford, Dodge, and Toyota.
Okay, so all the main ones we've seen in recent years.
This random driver was one of 9 trucks to finish the 2019 Truck Daytona race.
I was not at that race, so
To
I
be fair,
remember
not
that
many were at
being
the
a
finish.
really attrition heavy race.
That's probably where they got their one top 10, if I had to guess.
Maybe. This random driver had their first NASCAR start in 2010. I like how the chat had it earlier and now they don't.
Mm.
They're overthinking it. This random driver's last NASCAR race was in 2020.
I'm thinking of drivers who it could be, but none of them are from Washington. At least I don't think they are.
Right.
Huh.
This random driver participated in a few 2020 iRacing COVID charity races.
COVID charity races, you say?
Correct.
But
That's not the pro invitation.
That's not the pro invitational. There's something to that.
This random driver raced these numbers. If you need a pen to copy them down, let me know.
Yep. This might help me some.
All right. Tell me when you guys are ready.
Yep, go ahead.
0 1 0 0 1 8 24 38 39 44 68 70 72 and 78.
Which of these is a truck in Daytona? Hmm.
I will not give that one away.
Yeah, I'm
Next
not
week.
expecting you to. Don't worry. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
thinking out
I'm
loud.
just like, who could this possibly be?
This random driver has never been tweeted about by me, has been tweeted about twice by Danny, and 4 times by Eric.
So I know them somehow.
Hmm.
This random driver in 2020 was very open on social and political fronts. What driver wasn't?
That could be good or bad.
They were
I'll
very
leave that-
open. They were very open about social and political. You said,
Yes. By the way, we have 6
could-
clues left.
yeah, that could be good or bad.
This random driver openly supported local police at NASCAR tracks.
It's not them. No.
I don't know why this name is coming to my head, but I'll just say it. I'm probably wrong. Clay Greenfield?
Clay Greenfield is incorrect. So 2
I have
He
no
was
clue why I
68.
thought
That was
that
a
one.
good guess.
2 swings left for you guys, 5 clues to do it with.
Huh.
This random driver actually has a nonprofit that's focused on ending bullying, child abuse, and life-threatening childhood illnesses.
That's awesome.
It is. Like, yeah, I agree. This random driver also has 2 adopted children.
Oh. There's the thunder.
I know, I hear it on my end too. This random driver had a reality show that aired on Facebook.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I remember this. Angela Ruck.
Angela Ruck.
I was literally about to say her.
That's why you got to say it before I can.
Yeah.
Yes, Angela Ruck. I had 2 other clues, and they were that she had an uncle and sister that raced in NASCAR, and that this random driver's husband started numerous controversies and rumors.
Oh
on
my
X in
gosh,
2020
you're
when
right.
when people insulted her talent level.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
At least you both came to it at the same time. We're both staring at a brain cell here.
So Danny has tied the series at 23, I believe. Yes, so they are tied.
No offense to you there, Peter, but I needed that one a little bit more.
Yeah, all good.
So Angela Ruck is the choice, is the
Yeah.
right one.
Yeah, the reality show one is what gave it away for me. And on Facebook of all places.
2020 was a wild time. Like, I don't care like what you think of whatever went on at that time. Like, everyone lost their heads for like a year.
Yep.
And everyone looks back on it now and it's like Fantasyland crazy. It's so different.
When you initially said a truck top 10 in Daytona, I thought you meant Natalie Decker, but no, she was in 2020 when she got that top 10.
Oh yeah.
And she was from Wisconsin.
Yeah,
too.
Wisconsin, not Washington. That was what prevented me from saying that too.
And yeah, she is 3rd generation. She is.
But yeah, so Angela Ruck. I like that some people actually were stumped in there. Nice.
And
Means I
you
did
know
my
what?
job.
Out of all those numbers, I cannot tell you what truck she would have been in. I don't remember it.
Good question. I should probably
I
go
think
on
it was
and
the
look.
one, but don't. I'm only like 70% sure there.
I'm just gonna look up Angela Ruck. 2019, is that what we said, or 2020?
2019. Here, I'm looking it up right now.
2019.
Who do you think won that race before you look?
Oh, I know.
Who you got?
You want me to say it or do you want Danny to guess?
I
No,
don't
go ahead.
remember. I don't
Go ahead.
remember. Go ahead.
It was Austin Hill, wasn't it?
Yep, Austin Hill. And Angela Ruck's truck was the 8.
Yep.
And some of this top 10, or I shouldn't say top 10, these finishers, it's just like, it's kind of the weirdest compilation of finishers now looking back. Austin Hill, Grant Enfinger, Ross Chastain, Spencer Boyd, Matt Crafton, Josh Rayum, Timothy Peters, Angela Ruck, Austin Wayne Self.
And Stuart Friesen, he's 10th.
Yeah, but he was out of the race after crashing.
Wow. Bobby Gerhart, 11th on that one.
Arca legend, Bobby Gerhart.
Hey, there's Clay Greenfield, 68. That's what. There you go.
I forgot. Did we do Bobby Gerhart yet for a random driver? I feel like we did.
I feel like we did. Let me look.
Yeah, I'm going on the list right now.
Same. It's taking me forever.
Yes, you got him.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
So, well, that was fun.
Yep, we're having fun.
This is fun. We're having fun.
With that being said, we're about to get into super chats. We are funded by viewers like you. Peter, you are welcome to go. You're welcome to stay. We really don't care. You can stay as long as you want.
I could stay for a little bit more. Let's keep this train rolling.
All right. See what you did there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the super chats. Jarrett, you got a timer for me?
Yes, I do. Right, at least on my end, where's it at? Right here on the screen.
Oh. Bailey Record, appreciate the 499 from you. If Junior doesn't yell pancakes as Zillish as his crew chief, I'll be very disappointed. Yeah, if it's a new IHOP commercial he's got going on. Pancakes.
Pancakes. A code word for something.
Palm Tree 82, appreciate $20 from you. I think Trackhouse just had their hard question answered. Zillish needs another year to learn patience and not to destroy the fastest car on track. Can't do that again when your competitor for a cup ride wins by 17 seconds. And also Suarez, as we talked about earlier, winning the Xfinity Series race. Yeah, that's all valid points. We kind of talked about that a little bit. Maybe this means that we do need one more year from Zillish before we rush him up the cup. Spencer Purcell, appreciate you being a member of DNB Superfans for 48 months. The Bowman month, 48 months. Holy moly, that's like 4 years. That is 4 years. Thank you for supporting the channel for so long, Spencer. Always appreciate your support. Always love seeing you here in the chat and in the comments on all my videos. GN NASCAR fan 24, appreciate the $19.99 from you. Sorry. Was at CDMX for the first time this weekend with my dad. Sat in Blue Zone T1. The Mexican fans were awesome. One named Christian bought my dad and I beers. Saturday was electric. Sunday was fun with the rain. We'll gladly come back next year. That's awesome to hear. Glad you guys had a great time. G and NASCAR fan. Sorry, I'm getting choked up. That's all the emotion. You had a great time. G and NASCAR fan 24, appreciate another $4.99 from you. Also, we toured a city by metro and bus. Did not have any issues whatsoever. Yes, Mexico has issues, but so does the USA. No geopolitical stuff was at the racetrack. That's very, very true. And I have seen enough geopolitical stuff in my Monday through Friday job this week to not want to see it at the racetrack.
Retweet that.
Bailey Riker, appreciate the $4.99 from you. My one and only tiny complaint is the race was too long. It was great, but 75 to 85 laps is perfect. 100 laps felt like it dragged. I'll slightly agree with that. I did feel like it was a little long, longer than expected for a 250-mile race, I felt. But I think it's because there's a few more cautions. The pace laps take a while. I think that's all that really was.
Right. If we had one late caution in that, I think it was a 32 lap run to the end, then I don't think the race would have dragged on. Felt like it dragged on for as long.
Yeah. Shorty PJM, appreciate the $5.61 from you. This weekend was perfect. Bubba Suarez has a hilarious video. Yes, if you guys didn't see that, that was hilarious. Bubba did that. Here's one day in Mexico. Here's dos days in Mexico. And then Suarez just comes out full on. It was hilarious. Suarez's win, plus Bubba Wallace crying for him. My two Mexican-American friends loved hearing NASCAR was there. So that's awesome to hear.
Good stuff.
PC 10.8. Peter, you would like this? They have a train as their profile picture.
Oh,
PC
nice.
10.8. Watching this live while waiting on a train I'm going to chase. There you go. Hope you had a good chase.
Might be a good spot to close off because we're over 3 minutes now.
Let's end with this one for Alex Left.
Okay.
Appreciate the $5. If you're a wrestling fan, you might get this reference. Stenhouse the Hocevar. You just made the left.
I don't get that, but I know you do. So
the wrestling fans will get it. They'll have a
Mhm.
good time. But that'll do it for super chats for now. And Jarrett, it's actually storming outside.
Yeah, it is. It is literally time for the lightning round. Holy crap. I'm like feeling it in the walls right now too. That's the fun part.
Yeah, it's actually storming pretty hard.
So we have the NWP channel at NWP Clips, where all of these will be re-uploaded and fun stuff will be posted throughout the year. Some ESPN news, which is really odd for a NASCAR show these days.
Mhm.
ESPN will air Sports Center live from 2 NASCAR tracks this year. One from Dover before next month's Cup race, as Dover's been listed as being on the company's 50 States in 50 Days tour.
I'll have to go check that out.
Mhm.
And also Bristol before the Speedway Classic. So,
Side note, ESPN, you're stealing that idea from Ryan Trahan. He's currently on the 50 States in 50 Days tour as well.
The Dover Fan Zone last year had the world's largest rubber ducky. This year it'll have Sports Center. That's quite
and a
the
beach.
quite the upgrade.
They'll have a beach now too. Because
That's
I guess
that's gonna make for an interesting vlog for me. I love doing the vlogs. I'll definitely have to make sure I go get all that.
I think if I heard right, Miles the Monster might actually have like a Hawaiian shirt on for like the
Oh my
beach.
gosh,
Oh,
please,
guys.
please. I hope.
I hope they dress him up like the fat dude from Lilo and Stitch. They give him like the towel around his neck, the ice cream cone in his hand.
Hey, rest in peace. Actually, the actor who portrayed that character in the new movie actually passed away recently, like right after
Damn.
the movie come out. I saw that.
That sucks.
Yeah, sad.
Something that doesn't suck is that Jeff Gordon pretty much confirmed to Tom Cruise that Tom Cruise is doing Days of Thunder 2. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I saw some kind of a Hollywood tracker account on Twitter that they actually talked about that happening too. So a lot more than just in the NASCAR spectrum is picking up on that now.
I saw this tweet go viral today, and it said, man, the F1 movie would have been really great if instead of Brad Pitt, it was somebody like Tom Cruise. And I'm like, well, funny you say that. Come over to the NASCAR side of things where we don't need the movies to make the
Right.
racing look good.
Mhm.
So that's going to be really fun. I can't wait. I love Days of Thunder. It's one of my favorite NASCAR movies. Probably it's up there as my favorite. And I would love to see something like Top Gun Maverick done to NASCAR, because I feel like you can catch so much of the feel of the track that nobody ever has that I think they could in a movie. Also, Iowa Speedway has announced a year 2 sellout. So pretty good there too.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent news.
Tyler Reddick will run a Superman car at Atlanta with Upper Deck.
Sorry, I threw up a little bit after saying that one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty dookie.
Hopefully the movie's not dookie.
Yeah, I hope not.
Movie actually looks halfway decent. I kind of want to go see it. And I'm usually more of a just watch the Marvel stuff, not the DC stuff kind of guy.
Right, same, but I like James Gunn, so fingers crossed that he delivers again.
I've been so out on superhero movies, I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's just
There's a new dinosaur movie coming out. You can watch that one.
really.
Yeah, another Jurassic World is what I'm saying. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
They're
Yeah.
restarting it.
I will say I saw the T-Rex in that. Looked very much more accurate to what a T-Rex should look like.
Mhm.
There's also some kind of other dinosaur that what I saw, but was hard to tell. It almost looked like a alien half breed of a dinosaur.
I saw that crap. Listen, I go to these movies just turn off my brain and have fun at this point. I already know they're never going to get the first.
That was
magic
me and
back.
you with Godzilla and Kong when we watched that. We went just for the fun of a lizard and a monkey.
Mhm.
Dude, if we had a designated driver, I would have snuck us in a bottle of whiskey during that thing, and we would have really had fun.
We needed that watching Cocaine Bear is what we needed.
I think we needed other stuff watching Cocaine. Anyway,
Okay, back on
finishing
track.
off the lightning round, not the nose snow round. Rick Ware Racing is countersued Legacy over the number 27 charter. We'll probably get more updates on that as time goes on. And then next week we'll be on my channel Wednesday, June 25th with Michael Roos as our special guest. So,
And Eric back.
yeah, I think Eric should be back.
Yep.
Sorry, I just got a text. It was really funny.
I was laughing at Snappy 452 in the chat said this is the white lightning round.
That either way, it is the lightning round. I'm gonna be honest, I completely lost where I put the I think there it is. Okay.
There's actually a thunderstorm outside. It is the actual lightning round right now.
Yeah, I could say a million stupid jokes about it, but it's true. Like I keep feeling my wall move every time there's a bolt of lightning.
Don't make any stupid jokes, because the last person I know who made a stupid joke or said something stupid ended up getting fined by his team. Let's talk about some big stuff that happened this week.
Yeah, let's get into the headlines. So what did happen?
Carson Hocevar was streaming on Twitch. You know, he's a streamer. He's a young guy like us. He's been on NWP before. He's hip. He's with the teens. He's down with the youth of America today. Anyway, he was on Twitch and doing iRacing, and he started going on a rant about having to go to Mexico City. This is before the race even happened, before he went down there. And I'm just gonna quote him directly. I don't usually try to cuss on this channel, but he called Mexico City a quote shithole, and then he apologized for this later on Twitter. And he was fined $50,000, not by NASCAR, but by Spire. And they will be requiring him to take some sensitivity training on this, both cultural sensitivity and what's the other sensitivity he's having to do? Bias or something like that, I think.
It all's the same to me.
In a way, I felt like, I don't know. It's I don't know how to react to this, because whoa, that's gonna be loud. Hold on.
Damn.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
I could see it out my window, and I was like, that's gonna be loud. Anyways. Carson Hocevar just, I'm like, it sucks like that he said what he said, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't want to get myself in trouble for this, but kind of like the tabloid, like he went on a rant, everyone got up for him. It's like okay, yeah, you don't have to agree with what he says, but at the same time, I feel like you are entitled to say if you're not excited about going to a place, if you're not having a good time where you're at. It might differ from majority of the opinion, but
I think it's the big part is like representing sponsors and things like that.
That's the biggest thing.
I've seen people that like have compared this to the Noah Gragson deal and like the Kyle Larson one, and I really don't think this is on that level. Like, do I think it's dumb what he said? Yeah. Like, I think it's dumb to say that. You're going into this weekend really trying to make, you know, a bunch of olive branches out to a brand new country, a brand new audience, and all of that. Like, I think it's stupid. And I think the team has every right to react however they would. I'm surprised they made it so public more than anything.
Yeah, Will England in the chat said that Spire escalated into something bigger than it probably should have been, and I do agree on that.
I think a lot of times brands and teams are just, they don't want lack of a better word, a brand disaster or like a PR disaster. And I think that's probably why they jumped on this. Like, don't be wrong, like he shouldn't have said that just because of the sponsor side of things, of the NASCAR side of things, and the outreach side of things too. At the same time, though, it's like I feel like this is one of those things that is kind of overly blown up by social media. And if the same thing was said 10 years ago, I think it would be dealt with completely behind the curtains, and nobody would remember it a week later.
More than likely. And adding on to that, I believe the sponsor on Hocevar's car in Mexico is a Mexico-based company that this is their first time sponsoring anyone in NASCAR. So that only adds another wrinkle into this whole situation.
Well, and I do think that his apology was genuine. Like, you can tell it was not an AI written one or anything like that. So it's like, and I get it. I think he probably knows he screwed up. I will say the other side of it too is like the amount of people who are like, oh, he's just a 22-year-old kid. Like, that's not a kid. That's a grown ass man. Like the 22 is grown up.
Professional athlete in a top level sport. He should have some sense of what he should and shouldn't say. Granted, he wasn't competing in the sport when he said this, but still in front of an audience on a public platform.
Yeah, if this is like a 16-year-old who's just entering the truck series and put out a stupid tweet or something, like, okay, little lenient, but it's like, this is an adult that knows what he's doing, can control his mouth or anything like that. Like, I feel like this whole thing could have been dealt with outside of the public eye because it really didn't get blown up with. I feel like more people were pissed at Tab Boyd before this got blown up than Carson Host.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like, I might not agree with what either of them might have said either way, but I fail to see the outrage outside of a lot of people that liked what was going on in person, got pissed off at it and amplified it to their audiences. Like, it's a lot of, I feel like it's I don't think it's as much like a pearl clutching as like, oh, someone said something, dumb that we disagree with. It's inoffensive in any way, but
Yeah.
it's a little pearl clutchy to me. That's just my thought.
Yeah, it just kind of a lot of what I saw, and I feel like I also saw some. I feel like I saw a lot of negativity from a lot of people. That's like, it felt like you weren't allowed to have a differing opinion. I don't know. That's all I felt like I saw this week in a lot of ways. But I'm trying not to look at it too much. I will actually read Carson's apology real quick. That he put out, just so in case anyone's not familiar with what he said afterwards. Carson said, maybe a kid that had never been out of the country until Thursday should ever give an opinion about what any place is like other than Portage, Michigan. When I answered that question on a stream, I was skeptical about the trip so far and believed everything I read or heard about Mexico City from people who more than likely also had never been here. Now that I've actually left my hotel a couple of times and raced here in front of some of the most passionate fans I've ever seen, my opinion has changed. I am embarrassed by my comments about a race I ran, and I may have to move here to hide out from Ricky anyway. Count this as another lesson for me. In a season, I've learned so much. Don't believe everything you hear without seeing it yourself. If anyone should give anyone or any place the benefit of the doubt, it's me. I'm sorry, Mexico City. Consider me an ally going forward. An example of getting off Twitch and seeing things with my own two eyes. And when Spire Motorsports put out their statement on finding him yesterday, he quote tweeted that and said, "Whoa, everybody, the truth is the truth. I said something that not only was wrong, I said it without even laying my own two eyes on CDMX or running one lap in an actual race. An amazing facility that welcomed me with open arms. And I go and say that. Thank you for the support, but I'm not sure we're on the same page. You guys want me to be me. It was me who said it, and it was me who apologized after actually taking the time to explore the city and feel the passion of every fan in attendance. I appreciate the opportunity to learn, and I knew before this weekend what respect means to this organization, and I didn't meet the standard, so I got what I deserved. I hate learning these lessons in the public eye and bringing any negative attention to Spire or me. We've been fast just about every week, and I'm sure I have plenty of mistakes left of me. I appreciate growing up in front of all of you, and you guys get to see the good and the bad. I'm just me. I'm trying. It just doesn't always go the way I want, and I bring a lot of this on myself. However, I love being in this garage with this team surrounded by the best drivers and fans in the world. See you in Pocono."
Like one of you said a little bit ago, you can tell that's genuinely him writing that, not some PR spin or some chat GPT, whatever. You can tell that's him from the heart in both those statements.
Yeah. I feel like, as long as he's not doing a bunch of stupid stuff on stream again and different, dumb comments, I feel like it's kind of a move on thing. Honestly, I honestly, with most stuff on social media, I think the same thing. Unless somebody is like actively said something really, really overboard or has faked their own death or something like that, it is a normal day on the internet for me. That's kind of how I see it. Maybe that's just because I'm chronically online, so I've been desensitized to the corporate world and that side of things too. But that's pretty much my piece on it. I feel like there's more constructive things we can talk about. Yeah,
like NASCAR video gaming news. We have some major developments for NASCAR 25, the new game being developed by iRacing. We had the NASCAR Q&A recently with the developers, and so we have a little bit more information now that we know about this. I'm just going to run through the list because we have a whole bunch here, and maybe we can stop and talk about a little bit of it. But
yeah, we can group them together a little bit. I mean, most of them, I would argue most of these are just things we can list off for the first, like,
yeah,
I would say the first 4 things
so
for sure.
So first of all, when are we going to get it? Well, according to them, it's set to release in late September or early October. A hard date has to be decided on by the end of June. So we're getting close to them needing to decide a set release date. But the good news is you can play College Football 26 in July for the start of that season, and then you'll have NASCAR coming out. And then you got a good game to carry through until GTA 6 next year. So all the video games are lined
Next
up
year.
for a little while.
Dude, we're getting GTA 7 before GTA 6.
I know, right? GTA 6 coming out after NASCAR 45.
Kind of some of the other points, though, the driver one is the interesting one for me already.
190 total drivers, which is insane. We used to have 190 total drivers in previous games, but they were majority fantasy drivers. We have 56, a whopping 56 ARCA drivers have volunteered their name, image, and likeness to be involved in this. We have 43 Cup Series guys, 42 Xfinity cars, and 46 Cup cars. That is just an insane amount of options to race with right off the bat, in my opinion. It's only going to be available on now current gen consoles, that being the PlayStation 5 and what is Xbox these days?
Hell if I know. People who play Xbox will know.
Last I knew was Xbox One, so if it's anything more than that, so be it. 400 plus paint schemes will be at the launch. I found it funny. Jarrett wrote 400 plus paint schemes at Laugh pre-DLC, but at launch pre-DLC, which is insane. That's an insane amount of paint schemes to choose from. July and August are the months that we will see and confirm more. We will start seeing some paint scheme screenshots in July, gameplay and trailers in August, maybe around Daytona. That's a good time to be.
That's when I would expect based on the timeline.
I mean, that's going to be a huge race on NBC. It'd be a great time for him to put a trailer out during that race
and do stuff at the track too. Like, put stuff out there.
Have early copies of outside. I will probably be at Daytona. Maybe I can get a chance to see it and decide if I want to buy it or not. The soundtrack. This is something really cool. Dell Jr. is in charge of that. The music is going to be good. Few names we already know of. Eddie Rabbit and System of a Down will be part of that. So I don't think we're going to be seeing Uncle Cracker, America's my hometown.
We're probably going to see half of it be the Dangerous Summer, knowing Dale Jr. But
Ram will not be in the game at launch. It could be a DLC or it could come in NASCAR 26. I would expect, because it's releasing so late, we'll probably see a 2026 DLC come out at some point. So maybe Ram can work its way in for that. But why would it be at launch? It's based on this season. Ram doesn't exist right now. So that just makes sense. The career mode, this is a fun one. You will work your way up starting from ARCA. We kind of knew that. Race weekends will be more streamlined, turning points to the career, a bit of a story element to it. I don't know as much about that. Do you?
So I listened to the whole thing, did a video on it, and I've been able to talk to people in development with the game. So like I got a little bit more know on this now. I don't know if you guys noticed, I've been very interested in this because I want to play a modern NASCAR game that's actually good or functional. Functional is actually the good one. So the career mode, we knew you'd work up from ARCA. What it means by the race weekend would be streamlined is like, you remember like NASCAR 06, for instance, you do your fight to the top mode. If you're racing both Busch and Cup, you have to race your full Busch series weekend, back out, go to the menu, race your cup weekend. Basically, what it would be now is if you're racing, like, let's say you race Trucks Xfinity Cup, is you would all, remember in like the Race Now mode or whatever in NASCAR Thunder 04, you'd get like, you can do your practice session, happy hour, qualifying, all that. You'd get the option, do truck practice and qualifying, do truck race, Xfinity practice, cup qualifying, Xfinity race, cup. You don't have to back out to a different menu for it. Once you finish that race or practice session or whatever, you can just go to the next one you're doing, or you skip it and go to the next race and just do each race you're doing. It's not something that's like revolutionary in any way, in my opinion, but it's something I think that's a lot easier for the player. And the storyline side of things for the career mode is they'll have these, what they call turning points. And what the Matt Lewis, who's producing the game, he was bringing it up. What it would be is, instead of like, oh, you just sign this sponsor or you just do this and there's not really much to it, you can have these moments where like you get the offer to star in a movie and become this big superstar, or you can do a test session or stay at the shop with the team and work on your driving, and your performance on the racetrack would do better otherwise. That way there's a bit of replayability. Like, you can go the whole full superstar route and then suck like Danica Patrick, or you can go the nose to the grindstone racing front and like be a legend kind of thing. Or you can try and straddle that line back and forth. Again, I don't think any of the stuff that they're necessarily doing is revolutionary to gaming. I think it's revolutionary to NASCAR gaming, though. And I think that's the important part. But that's kind of a little more insight on the career mode side of things too. Sorry if I went on a tangent.
No, you're good. You're good. I saw some people joking in the chat that we need free roam in NASCAR 25. The day we have that and they allow you to hit circle to punch, everyone's going to be Ricky Stenhouse. All get out of the car after he run a whole race and get out of the car and just all start fighting in the garage. That'll be in the entire online lobbies. Speaking of online lobbies, we will have online and multiplayer in this game as well. Full field sizes for both. Private lobbies are back, which is a must. You really need private lobbies if you want to have any kind of remote real fun with your friends, in my opinion. And AI cars can be used in both for full public lobbies and private lobbies, which is amazing. I don't know how the AI is going to be, if it's even going to be worth turning it on. It might just get in your way the whole time, but it is going to be an option.
So they mentioned this. So I kind of put the Spark notes on here, and we can kind of go in depth on any of the other stuff. There's going to be these sliders that can basically, like, you can set up how good the AI can race against you.
Okay.
Whether like they're super spread out, or if they're all like clumped together in a pack, kind of 550 style or whatnot like that. So that was one of the things he brought up. Now, I will say, take it with a grain of salt, just because it is the guy who's helping make the game. He has mentioned multiple times how well it drives, and he says it's the best driving game that he's had. I would personally want to play that first before I would make a judgment on it. But there's a lot of people that worked in like Papyrus, now iRacing, and the EA side of things, Technics, some of them from the Heat side. And the thing is that even if any of those are like a red flag, like the Heat side, or if any of the people that kind of got stuck at Motorsport Games, if that's initially at Motorsport Games, not when they shipped it offshore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take worry in that, just because there's a lot of good people that got stuck working with a shit company, or a company that could not get its finances correct. That's more for the people at the top. iRacing is not going to have that same issue, which I think if it's okay, Danny, I want to bring up the last points here.
Yeah.
Is they confirmed a 1, 3, and 10-year plan for NASCAR games, and what they want to add in with each one. It really sounds like this one is very much a groundwork game. Good working, AI, working physics, working game modes. Do I think it's going to be the best NASCAR game ever? Personally, no. If it is, like, I'll eat a shoe on stream. I don't know. Like,
So my question is, they've had a lot of time to work on this, both officially from the official time that Motorsports Games dissolved and they got the license to do this, but also I don't know if there's any way to know how long have they been privately working on something, thinking that they would get this.
I don't think there's, at least they would not probably publicly ever say if they were working on it like that. But from the sounds of it is like, it's a pretty decently sized team doing it. Again, they got people like Dale Earnhardt Jr. in there that are helping every step of the way and are really making a big presence in it. Not just like, hey, here's Dale Jr. pancakes, and that's all he's bringing to the table. No, like he's actually bringing a good driver owner perspective. I guess part of the career mode is going to include like, you can have different prompts given to you by like Dale Jr. and those on like the Dale Jr. download. Like they're really involved in a lot of what's going on. Take that what you will. But I will say I have went from being cautious to cautiously optimistic to now I am leaning closer to optimistic. And take this as from somebody who, like, I was one of the people, same with like John, that at the very start of the role for NASCAR 21, where like I was immediately calling it out, like, this is going to be a piece of crap. This is going to be awful. Like, don't touch this game. Don't even look at it. Certainly don't breathe at it. Like, don't do a damn thing with it. Like I thought it was gonna be all. I think this game has great potential. I would just wait until some people have played it. I wouldn't pre-order it until you know for sure it'll play how you want it to play.
I'm not pre-ordering. Did that come out bad? I'm not pre-ordering until.
By the way, I don't know if you can tell, but like my light keeps flickering on and off every time lightning strikes out there.
Oh gosh, it's actually calmed down here a little bit, but I'm a little bit further west than you are, so
yeah.
But it's I'm not gonna pre-order this game until I have literally seen someone post reviews that's not being given free copies. I want to see someone who has just decided to buy this and see what actually happens before I buy it.
I get it. Totally get it.
Because I regret pre-ordering the last NASCAR game.
Oh, you pre-ordered that?
Only because I had a bunch of games I was getting rid of, and at the end of the day, it was like only $10 with trade-ins.
Oh, okay. That's not egregious. I thought you like paid the full price in. I was like, dude.
No, at the end of the day, it was only gonna be $10 of games I didn't want to play no more. So,
man, they took you out behind the Waffle House with that one. Like if you paid the full price, like I feel bad to anyone who paid the full price for that load of crap, because that sucked.
How can you dare say Waffle House when we've got the pancake poll going now?
I mean, I'll take waffles from Waffle House. Off topic. I think I told you, Danny, but I've never really said it live. I tried the Waffle House Delmonico steak. I got served a hockey puck. I knew what I was getting when I ordered it. It was like, you know what made it good? Ketchup, because that was like a TV dinner. But it's Waffle House, so I don't care.
Wow.
That's pretty much all the updates when it comes to the game so far.
Cool. One more thing to talk about then. That's a little bit of reckless speculation, a little bit. Some schedule reckless speculation. Start with this one. This is pretty exciting. I have a coworker of mine out in San Diego, so I sent this to him. Said I might have to come see you for a race. Jordan Bianchi is reporting that a deal with San Diego could be reached for the 2026 season. It would not be affecting the Chicago street race, though. I think there's another place that would affect that one.
Well, I think a lot of people have been like, well, if we get San Diego in it can replace Chicago. But the thing is that even if it's a low chance of it right now, the Chicago street race, if the city elects to do so, can still be, brought back on the 4th-year option that they wrote into the contract.
Yeah.
I personally don't think it will unless some stuff changes. I know there was something about like the state of Illinois, like allocated some extra money towards it or something this year. But the state of Illinois spends money like it's going out of style. So they take it from someone that lived there. It really doesn't mean much if they spend a lot of money on something. They're just going to throw it into the pit.
And $5 million may sound like a lot, but in state politics, that's really not that much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, that might be just throwing $5 million at the, hey, get the hell out next year so that we can try our bid at F1. I personally don't think I think this is the last year of the Chicago street race. I'll say, I don't think it's coming back.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So take of that what you will with it. But the San Diego side of things, so that's interesting to me because, you know, we're moving Homestead to the finale. We know that. So we do need more early season warm weather races. And my idea with that was like, you do Daytona and Atlanta like you do now. You get your big ratings hit with the super speedways. And then you carry that momentum into a San Diego street race early in the year. You just hit the big events really early, bam, 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 before the West Coast swing, before the Easter break, before all of that, and just try and, you know, get the ball rolling as fast as possible to start the year.
I'm just saying though, if we can go out there that early, why can't we just see Sonoma when it's green? I just want to see green Sonoma.
The good thing about San Diego specifically is they have temperate weather just about year round. So
yeah, no humidity out there.
West Coast swing or potentially even a playoff date, the weather shouldn't, knock on wood, be an issue.
I know my dad lived out there for a while when he was younger, and he brought up the same thing to me. He's like, it was awesome, like all year round. It was just awesome weather all the time. It's beautiful out there. And he was, you know, telling me all this great stuff about San Diego. And I'm like, damn, you know, I'd be down to have a race out there if it's half as good as he said it was. I'd like it. You know, I think Chicago, I think whatever we thought about at the start, I think everyone can say the Chicago street race was a success. Unless this year it gets hit by a meteor when everybody's racing out there, I think it was a success. In doing what they wanted and growing another market. I think the Chicago market has actually gotten much, I don't know if like much bigger on the grand scale of NASCAR fandom, but in their side of the NASCAR side of things, I think has. I know that last year, even going back to Northern Illinois during that weekend and that lead up to it, it was a big deal. A lot of people talked to me about it. And granted, I'm, you know, a lot of people also knew me in their groups as the NASCAR guy, whether it be family, friends, you know, whoever. But they wouldn't talk about NASCAR when they were going to Road America or Chicagoland or Indianapolis, at least not since like the 2000s. So I think it accomplished the goal that NASCAR and the city wanted. Now expand it. And that's the crazy thing. I mean, if we kind of skip around a little bit, like now, like tonight, Philadelphia was thrown out there as an option for a street race, and nobody had that.
Not for a street race, for a potential stadium race at the University of Pennsylvania.
The stadium race?
Yeah, that's what the article.
But they're talking about another street race.
No, the article said a potential stadium race at the UPenn football stadium, which is another old Olympic style football stadium like the LA Coliseum.
So I'm wondering where would you put it? Would you put it as the all-star race and then make North Wilkesboro?
I mean, maybe if they do want to bring Wilkesboro as to a points race.
Because I feel like Philadelphia, a stadium race like that, one, I don't think would fit like a Clash. I don't think the weather would permit that.
No.
Like everyone complained about Bowman Gray being cold this year. And
I was there. It's not that cold, but yeah, it was.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't that bad, but everyone, like, I remember when they announced, like, everyone's going to freeze their asses off. It's going to be 25 degrees out. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to be that bad, guys. So like, where would it fit at that point? Would it just be like an added exhibition race during the season? Would it be the all-star race and then they make Wilkesboro a points race or the Clash or whatever? Like, that's my question. Like, how would that actually fit into the schedule?
Right.
Any ideas?
Not really.
No, and reading that article from the local news affiliate in Pocono, it kind of felt like they just shoehorned that quote in there from O'Donnell. So I'm not 100% sure how far along those discussions are, if they've even gotten beyond just the preliminary talks.
So because I remember Pittsburgh was something they really talked about for a bit, like early on, that could be like a street race option or a city option.
And I'm pulling up Google Maps now, and I was talking about this earlier with Jarrett and Eric in our chat. Philadelphia to Pocono is still not that close. It's 3 hours away, but either one of those two to Pittsburgh, that's like several hours away. That's a long drive. Like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is a huge state. People don't realize how big it is.
It's like Tennessee, where both of you guys are. It's a lot longer than you realize.
Yeah, I went out to Pennsylvania last summer, attempted and failed miserably at a marathon. And it was like in the middle of Pennsylvania. It was like, I think, was it maybe, it's like, to put it in perspective, it was like maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 miles away from like Butler, Pennsylvania. It was like closer to the New York side of things. I'm flying into Philadelphia. So I flew into Philadelphia, and then I think I got picked up there. I can't remember exactly where I got picked up. I might have got picked up, but like, I'm like, oh, I'm going into Philadelphia. Maybe I can rent a car. That's all right. I didn't go from Philly straight to where I was going, but I was like, oh, maybe I can rent a car and, I can save some money on an extra connecting flight or something like that. And then I looked at like how far the drive is from Philadelphia to another place that is on the eastern side of the state. And I was like, holy Jesus, this place is bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
If you did Erie, Pennsylvania, which is the like most northwest, bigger sized town in Pennsylvania, down to Pittsburgh and over to Philadelphia, if you made that drive, that is 6 hours and 40 minutes. If you then added in, I see Scranton, Pennsylvania. So let's do that one. That's kind of more in the northeast corner of Pennsylvania. If you did all of those four together, that's 8 hours and 46 minutes of driving. That's how big of a state that Pennsylvania is.
That's further drive than me going from near Nashville, Tennessee, up to the border of Illinois and Wisconsin.
Which, granted, if you had to start in Erie, Pennsylvania, and in Scranton, you're not going to take that route. But still,
no. On the other end of some scheduling stuff too. Look at my boy is back, and not Carson Hocevar, Chicagoland. Did you see what Carson was saying? Another Twitch stream thing of Carson's that went semi-viral on the NASCAR side.
This on a good side though.
Yeah, thankfully something positive.
Yeah. He pretty much was like, I can't wait to go back to Chicagoland next year. It's gonna race so good with the next gen.
Which I mean,
flew over.
I mean, worst kept secret,
I feel like I had a small hand in making sure that was still kept out there a little bit, because I've been saying like they've kept great care of that facility.
Better than even Nashville Super Speedway, which was in great shape when they decided to bring it back.
Yeah, better than that. I mean, Kentucky Speedway, honestly, Kentucky Speedway right now looks like Nashville did in 2020 when we went out there.
And Kentucky could be ready to go anytime. They just don't want to.
Chicagoland, like they mow the lawn. Even like the track has been kept very, very well in order. The track conditions are good. I mean, they've literally tested last year the electric car there before they took it to the street course at Chicago. Had it run laps with David Reagan. They've had I know there's other drivers that went out and visited the track, drove on it with their cars, like just their normal cars.
Didn't they host some dirt bike racing in recent years?
Yes. 2023, I want to say it was, might have been 22, one or the other. They had a one of those races there. That's like everyone was freaking out, like part of the catch fence is gone. It's like they tore that out so that they could make the track go outside of the oval and then around. There's not a ton of cars that are all parked there like there were before or anything like that. The city has been wanting it back. Like I get that people probably take it with a grain of salt hearing it from me, just because I'm very much a Chicagoland truther. But I do think of any of the tracks that have been rumored to be on the schedule, this is the one that, one, has had the most legs for the most time, but two, I from at least the people I've talked to, I have the most confidence in it happening. What weekend? I don't know. It could be the prime side of the season. It could be TNT. It could be the 4th of July. It could be in the playoffs. I don't know. All I know is that my track might come back, and I'm very happy.
As you should be.
Yeah, I ramble on that one, but Chicagoland, man, like that place was like a second home to me in the summer when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing, just because we just talked about this track recently, Mexico could be on a different part of the schedule, maybe even before the bye week.
Yeah, that's the thing is like they've mentioned it could be moved to different points, but it's so fluid right now. And that's the crazy part to me is like they never, at least from what I remember, mentioned like how long the deal was to go there, if it was a year by year kind of thing or anything like that.
I believe over the weekend it was said they had a 1-year deal with an option on it.
Okay. I hope they pick it up somehow. I hope it's feasible for them to do so because.
But by it having an option, that kind of also suggests to me, hey, if Canada comes calling, we're going to go there. But also, we were just like with San Diego. San Diego is closer to Tijuana, Mexico than it is to Los Angeles even. So that could be a way, not the same part of Mexico by any means, but it could still be a way to be close to the Mexico market.
Yeah. I think that could be an option. I feel like an event like this needs more than one bite at the apple, personally. You know, if you're going to do it, you might as well try to squeeze the most out of this as you can rather than, you know, just piecemeal it unless there's, you know, stuff underlying behind the scenes. You know, I remember there was that rumor that went out that the Mexico race was going to get canceled and sent to the Daytona road course, right? Who knows what legs were behind that or who started it, or if it was just somebody who was like, maybe we can get enough backlash that they'll cancel it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do feel like they need another chance at it. I just, the logistics of it have to change with the tracks around it.
Yeah.
You can't expect the teams to go straight from Michigan to Mexico every year. My idea was like, if you're going to do it in the middle of the season, if you don't have a bye week, do it like after the 600, everyone's home. The Xfinity guys can probably get a head start on it too. Cup guys can, even if you go a day late on the 600, you're at home, your stuff's ready to go. I think that could be a better option personally.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And anyway, I think we all kind of agreed like that would be putting it in place at Nashville Super Speedway. We all kind of agreed weather was cooler then than it had been in years past. So if we had to then push Nashville to be the week after Mexico, it'd be a lot better of a, you know, next stop to go to after Mexico than going all the way to Pocono, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I'm actually okay with that if they decide to do that.
So what do you think? A little fun time, a little more fun.
Yeah. Are you still good to hang out with us, Peter? Or are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, by all means, buckle up. It's time for more fun. We might have jumped the gun on that random driver, but it is what
It's all good. It makes it a unique show this week. So for the predictions, each host or guest can make 2 NASCAR motorsports or show related predictions. We will keep track each week of these in our accountability session. We'll try to keep them relatively concise within a few years, give or take. It's really based on, you know, once we get there, we'll figure it out. Let's go to the accountability session though. Danny, it's a rough week, buddy.
Yep.
You said the NASCAR and Prime team would eat tacos on stage at some point during the broadcast. Danny, I don't know if you know how close you came to this actually being right if it wasn't for 2 words: on stage. Yep. In the pre-race show, Corey LaJoy, I believe it was with Daniel Suarez, and they had street tacos.
I should have just said the NASCAR and Prime team will eat tacos.
Yeah. I mean, you were so close. Such a bad beat on that, man. You said also Daniel Suarez would not get a top 10 in either Mexico race. And whoo boy.
He won the Xfinity race.
Yeah. I said the Cup race would have over 2 million viewers on Prime, and I was barely right. Barely. And then Eric said Tyler Reddick would qualify in the top 5 for the Cup race. He did not. And said Catherine Legg would finish top 30 in the Cup race. I believe she finished 32nd.
That was a fun one all day because, like, right off the bat when that big wreck happened, she had gotten into the top 30 and was even up to 28th at one point, and then she fell to 32nd right towards the very end.
I know. That was one where I honestly thought he was going to get that one right. I was like, damn, man. He's just been having bad luck so far. So the standings have changed again. I am now leading at 34.48%, Danny at 32.5%, and Eric at 24.44, meaning all time. I'm back over the 40 mark, 40.32, Danny at 31.33, and Eric at 29.61.
He's not here right now, but I know Eric would be saying how embarrassed he is to be not in the 30s and 8er bracket right now.
It's been a rough go of it for him. So I'll kick us off, and I do have Eric's predictions on me.
So Spencer saying Eric cannot predict this week. Yes, he still can.
So I will start mine off. I'm going to say this. SVG this year, I do think, as much as we talked about him for the playoff side of things and performance at ovals, one way or another, I think SVG gets a non-super speedway oval top 10 this year. So not a road course, not a super speedway, but an oval race that you could be luck that brings it, but I think one way or another, I think he will get that at least once this year.
I think he did get a top 5 at Indianapolis in Xfinity last year, so it's not completely impossible.
Are you saying playoffs too or before playoffs?
Just rest of the season.
Could be. Could be like Marcus Ambrose and surprise us and be strangely good at Bristol.
So Atlanta doesn't count. Yes, Atlanta will not count in that. I count it as a super speedway. I know it's a drafting track and not a super speedway technically, but
yeah,
we all know what I mean by non-super speedway.
I could see him randomly doing good at Iowa for some reason.
Or like Gateway. That'd be a weird one.
No, I could see Gateway. It's good, fast, flat track. Kind of plays into road course abilities, I guess.
Or if he survives Martinsville.
Ooh, I like that.
We're just fantasy booking SVG to win a championship, so that the playoffs will just blow up after that.
Watch outside of a road course or super speedway. His best finish this year is 11th. Just as like an FU to me.
Since this one is actually going to be inspired by an NFL thing I saw today. I saw earlier that Shedeur Sanders was pulled over for going 100 miles an hour in a 60 mile per hour zone, only given a ticket. You could go to jail for going that fast. He was only given a ticket, but I'm going to say a NASCAR driver will make news for being pulled over for excessive speed before the end of the season. I don't know who it'll be. I'm not going to say who it'll be or what series they're even in, but a driver will make some news for being pulled over for excessive speed before the end of the season.
Does it have to be a current driver? Can it be like Michael Waltrip does it?
I just said a NASCAR driver, so You take that with what you will.
All right, we'll count
it.
It
didn't specify 3 national series either, so that opens up the pool there.
It's such a random thing. It's like, as much as these guys speed for a daily living, you don't hear of that happening that much.
Eric, I'll give you his first one. He says there will be a new road course on the Cup schedule in 2026. Yes, he did hear about the San Diego reports too, by the way.
Put you on the spot. Do you have one, Peter?
Yeah, I'll say the Pocono Cup race gets the highest viewership for any prime race.
Ooh, that is very bold. Considering the Coke 600,
I'll go with another bold one here. Because of the San Diego thing and how far it's going, because of my opinion, I think Chicagoland will be put in over Chicago. There has to, I think, be an ISC date that's taken away to make San Diego happen. I do think they'll probably get Mexico. I really do think that will happen. Maybe I'm wrong. So I'm going to say this because there's been so much discourse around this date There's been so much talk of the attendance being down for it, of it being past its prime, of it, now this year not having a good TV audience. I think Darlington will go back to one date next year. Because if you're looking at any of the other ISC tracks, like someone brought up Kansas, but they're signed for 2 dates through next year. Phoenix, same thing, 2 dates. Martinsville, I don't think they'd go that far, at least not yet. And I don't think they do it to like Daytona or Talladega. So I hope I'm wrong.
Before the bracket is even officially revealed to us, I'm just going to go ahead and say this before anyone else gets a chance to. Ryan Blaney will win the in-season bracket tournament.
Ooh, I like it. I can see it happening. I can see him being eliminated round 1.
Yep.
Eric left one other one. He said Denny Hamlin will lead 10 or more laps at Pocono for the Cup race. I know he's only racing the Cup race, but might as well say it.
That kind of feels layuppy, but
that's what I was thinking too. I feel like he's like, I need to get my percentage up right now.
Yeah, all out because he's under 30.
I believe Blaney back in 2017 was the only driver in the stage era to win Pocono from below the cut line. I think that stays true this weekend. We see the winner from above the playoff cut line.
Oh, geez, sorry. My light's going out again.
Oh, gosh.
It keeps going in and out. I don't know if it's a light issue or a electricity issue. You can probably see me lighting up on this end of my face. But all right.
But that does it for the predictions. And we'll see next week how good we did or how bad we did.
Yeah.
And with that being said, it's time to get into Pocono picks.
All right. Well, let's think. Peter, are you cool if this week, even if you do the picks, they can overlap with ours just because we had planned. Eric only left me enough for 2 people picking ahead of him, and I just don't want it to overlap too much issue there.
Yeah, no worries.
So okay, cool. I didn't realize to ask Eric to send me the extra one, and I'm like, oh crap, he's probably in mid-flight right now.
If we want, do we want to just have Peter go last this time, since that's kind of on us for being last minute with this?
Is that cool with you?
Either one works, yeah.
All right, on-air production meeting over. I think we got it.
Yep, we'll just do it like that. I think that's easier considering how literally last minute this was.
All right, well, what we got, Danny? What's going on this week?
Some weekend notes for this one. This is the final race on Prime for Cup in 2025. Chase Elliott will be racing in a number 17 Hendrick Xfinity car this weekend. Did we know why that happened so last minute?
I didn't see, because I thought Corey Davis was supposed to be in the rest of the year.
Yeah, I thought that too.
It was previously announced day the rest of the year, yes.
But now Chase Elliott will be in this one. So it is what it is. The Cup Series race name is the Great American Gateway 400. Why is Gateway not named this one? I will never understand. It's a 160 lap race with stages being 30 laps, 65 laps, and another 65 laps. It's such a short stage one, and then 2 longer ones afterwards. Start time for this one is 2 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch this race on Prime Video with radio coverage on MRN and the Sirius XM radio network and the NASCAR app. Weather for this weekend, 85 degrees, partly cloudy, 24% chance of rain. There's always seems to be a chance of rain in Pocono somehow. The defending winner of this race is Ryan Blaney. The Xfinity Series race name is the Explore to Pocono Mountains 250. It's a 100-lap race with stages broke down and 25 laps in stage 1 and 2 and 50 laps for stage number 3. Race scheduled to start at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch it on the CW with radio coverage on MRN and Sirius XM. Weather for this one, partly cloudy, 82 degrees, 11% chance of rain. The defending winner of this race will not win it this year, as it was Cole Custer. And the Truck Series race, we got a 3-race weekend, is the Miller Tech Battery 200. It's an 80-lap race. Stages are broke up 20 laps in stage 1 and 2, 40 laps in stage number 3. This race is scheduled to start at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Friday. You can catch this on FS1 and the Fox Sports app with radio coverage on the NASCAR Racing Network and Sirius XM. Weather for Friday, 77 degrees, mostly sunny, 19% chance of rain. And the defending winner of this race is Corey Heim. And now, Jarrett, How are those points looking?
Pretty good for me. I got
Garrett.
272 at the lead, man.
Jared is your points leader. Eric is second, -3. Chat is third, -21. And I am Basement Boy, -23. With that being said, we can get into this. The pick order is going to go me, Chat, Eric, Jarrett, and Peter, since we brought him in last second.
All right. So, damn, we're already. I just realized triple header means we go right on into the truck picks.
Yep. Who is going to win the Truck Series race? This is probably the only one I will say the defending winner, Corey Heim, will win the truck race.
I'm shocked.
Mm.
Totally shocked. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, chat, you might as well stop writing 11.
I love how they immediately did like, shit.
Like you could actually see them stop from writing 11 for a second and then have to start going other numbers.
You just saw like the wheels start turning.
And I think they're going with Carson Hocevar in this one. I did forget to mention in the notes that he is racing in the Truck Series race, but they are going with the 7 of Carson Hocevar.
Yes, they are, which leaves that takes my 2 picks off, and it also takes Eric's 2 picks off. So Eric, I am so shocked, is going to go with Lane Riggs. I feel like
Wow, it's almost.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, wow, it's almost like he's one of the other good trucks.
Well, I know, but it's like every week it's me or Eric takes Lane Riggs. Like it's like we just go back and forth with Lane. Like, I got custody of Lane this week. You get him next. I'm gonna go with his teammate. I'm gonna go with his teammate. I'm gonna go Chandler. I think Chandler Smith. Thing is, Pocono was very much a litmus test of who's really good, at least from what I've known, especially the lower series. The best guys all year in trucks and the best guys all year in Xfinity are usually going to be the best guys at Pocono. So,
all right, you're going the dad supporting dads route this week with Chandler.
Pro gamer move, man. Pro gamer move.
I'm just saying.
Oh, and I just realized I put that graphic up there before. Peter, who's your pick?
I'll go off on a bit of a branch here, and I'll say Daniel Hemrick is the win.
All right, now it's time for the Xfinity pick. See, we're so used to having the guest pick first. My bad.
All right, who's going to win the Xfinity Series race? I'm going to read this comment here from Shorty PJM. 17 if Danny doesn't snatch him up. Well, you're in luck. If I snatched him up, I'm taking Chase Elliott.
All right, Chase Elliott off the board. And I kind of had a feeling they were going to end up going with Allgaier because that's the only one the chat picks every week.
Okay, yeah, it's more Allgaier. So I see a lot of 88, so now it's Allgaier.
Which means I got to go in here.
A good amount of 88s actually started suddenly coming through.
Hot damn.
Maybe we should just poll it, actually. Do you want to poll it?
It looked like it was more 7s.
They want to see Crew Chief Dale get a win.
Yeah, that's the people who are being optimistic. There's more 7s. I'm gonna give him Allgaier.
Eric's pick is Jesse Love.
Ooh.
Very interesting pick. He loves the love. Which leaves mine. Guys, I think it happens this week. I think it does. I think Sheldon Creed gets his first win.
Not gonna lie, because he is in the defending winner's car. I could see it.
And he was pretty damn good there last year too. I'm just saying. I think he.
I'm not confident enough to do that, but
Peter, who you got?
I also like a first-time winner, but not Sheldon. Give me Carson Quapple, first career win.
That's a good pick.
Dale still gets a win, but not as a crew chief.
I kind of forget Carson Quapple hasn't won. He's good. He's just not won yet.
All right. What do we got, Danny? Danny, who do you think's gonna suck?
Sorry. He went from being my win pick last week to second this week, Michael McDowell.
No McDowell supremacy. All right, chat. Who we got? I'm like copying all these down while I'm like also looking at all the graphics to pop up.
Majority Brad, it looks like.
Eric didn't leave me his suck or dark horse picks, so I'm also gonna pick next and also pick Brad.
What do you think, Peter?
For suck at Pocono, give me Joey Logano. That team has just not been fast since winning Texas.
By the way, Jarrett, I'm sorry to your wife who's acknowledging my McDowell slander.
I'm glad to know she's still watching.
She gotta do something to entertain her with the baby. So
Sleep.
Cup underdog. I'm just gonna go with Carson Hocevar.
Decent. Oh, so you're going full Spire on the first two.
Yeah, basically.
There's. I feel like they're loading theirs on this end because they had the 43, 42. She won't. Sorry, Riss. I'll be done soon.
Starting to say the Ty Gibbs believers coming in.
I've seen a lot of 43s, 42s.
It's just they're all very spaced out, but I'm going to give him the 43. That's the one thing I'm seeing the most.
And then I guess I will be one of the Ty Gibbs believers. I'll put him as dark horse pick. I don't have him as my win, but I'll give him as a dark horse pick. Which, yeah. So how about you, Pierre? Who you got?
Dark horse. I need to think about this. You know what? It'll make up for last week's near catastrophe. Give me Riley Herbst.
Oh,
Very off the beaten path.
Hey, everyone thinks one monster car. He thinks another one.
All right.
Who is going to win? Pocono.
Pocono.
Yeah, that's how I like to say it, Pocono.
All right. Does it have 3 turns or 6?
7, actually. I'm going with Denny Hamlin. Wow, who else would you go with, honestly?
I knew it. I knew it.
I'm going with a clean sweep. Yeah, chat, stop saying 11 again. I took 11 both times. You can get over it.
Come on, chat. Who you got? Let's see. 5s and 12s. 12.
I think they're going Blaney.
Yeah, there's I just want to make sure, but it looks like it's Blaney. They're so disorganized too.
Is Jimmy Johnson even racing? Someone said 84.
I don't think so.
No, he's not.
I bet him at 48 and got it backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give him Blaney.
All right, so they're going Blaney, which means who does Eric have? Eric will go with Byron. William Byron is
Byron.
Eric's pick.
Let me guess. He had both of those 2 picks before him, right?
He had Hamlin.
Oh, wow. He didn't have Blaney. That's surprising.
Blaney wasn't even on his big board.
That is shocking to me.
I mean, you want to be shocked more? Blaney's not on my big board either.
Ooh. Who do you got?
I will go with somebody who needs to have a bit of a slump buster here. Kyle Larson. I'm going to go with Kyle Larson on this one.
Who's never won a Pocono before.
Mm-hmm. I think he can break through.
He very nearly did.
Mm-hmm.
And then his teammate got it after he blew a tire.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who do you got, Peter?
He will lead laps in the win here this year. Give me Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott. See that?
Yeah.
He's a solid one too.
I still remember where we all were when he won at Pocono. We were at Bonfire Mongolian Grill, everyone eating, and then all of a sudden I was like, guys, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin disqualified. Chase Elliott wins.
That was one of the because we're like, no, there's no way. Like the whole group's getting all loud, and everyone in the restaurant's like,
what are these guys talking
idiots
about?
doing? Like, why are they getting all freaked out?
And we're like busting out laughing too. I mean, it was fun.
I mean, what else?
I remember frantically trying to find out what they were disqualified for, and then just reading, wait, it was just tape.
I know that was one of the funniest parts of that whole deal. And like it went super. I remember it went super viral. I remember that was the time that Eric went on the trending page for YouTube. He was like number 19 on trending because his video took off because it was like such a big deal of it happening. And and the entire time I'm like, it was a piece of in tape.
Yeah.
That was it. God, that was such a weird deal. But those are the picks. I'm gonna put those to the side now, and I guess we got one more thing left.
Yep. Peter, I think you've just strapped in for the whole show because we're gonna read these super chats and we're gonna be done.
Excellent.
All right. Let's see. We left off with Alex Love to pick up with SW. Appreciate $1.99. Bush forgot his bowling ball, so he used himself. Isaac V24, appreciate $1.99. My fix, top 25 in points are eligible for win, and you are in. Yeah, I mean, we could set a bar for that to come into play, but it also kind of reminds me of what we used to have, like the wild card rule. You had to be so high, but you could also get a win and somehow get into that spot somehow. Is that what it was? I forget how that worked.
Yeah, so if you're in the top 20 in points and you got the most wins out of anyone from 11th to 20th, you made it in as the 11th and 12th seed.
Yeah.
I get that people don't like it, but this all could be completely put by the wayside if we just did a normal championship for motorsports in the whole season.
Yeah. Justin Drake, we really appreciate how generous you usually are. Coming in generous again for us, a $49.99. Appreciate that as always, Justin. He said, I think Mexico City was a big success, and it gets me thinking, what other international races could NASCAR realistically do? Granted, there's Montreal, but I think a Puerto Rico / San Juan circuit could be amazing. NASCAR with Japan in the 90s, so why not? There's been talks of the Brazil thing. I don't know if that's kind of fizzled out, but that's been talks for a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked the idea of in the off season, take a race to Australia for the fun of it. Put them into containers, take them out there, kind of like they did in Japan. I think that would be a fun one to look at, but as like literally an off-season exhibition for fun, race only kind of deal. What do you guys think?
God, I feel like something in Europe. I don't know where, but just something like in the European market would be an interesting attempt to do something just as like a one-off.
And a good way to use Euro NASCAR along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice doubleheader. I was gonna probably mention Interlagos, the F1 course in Sao Paulo, Brazil, or the oval that they ran in Australia, the Calder Park Thunderdome. I think one, it's just such a great track name, and two, I think the idea of putting cars in boxes, shipping them down there in December or January, whenever, and having an exhibition race would just be fun.
Yep. Jam plays game. Appreciate the $1.99. Drivers feeling sick. Ferrari must be the water. Justin Drake, appreciate an additional $9.99 from you. Ty Gibbs week in Mexico City. Grandpa, what the F is a taco, and why didn't it come up a little bell? We'll never let the Ty Gibbs, Michael Marutz skits go away, which we're going to have Michael on next week, just as a reminder. T. Griffin, appreciated $10. Do you think that Bowman gets overlooked at road courses? Seems like he is in contention to win or runs top 5 most of them. I don't see him ever being considered one of the favorites to win any of them. Definitely, I think, is overlooked at how good of a road course racer he's become. That's definitely, so far, this stretch of summer might save a season a little bit if he can do every one like he did in Mexico City.
Yeah, I think it's very overlooked.
Bailey Riker, appreciate the $5 from you. Briscoe slammed the tires and said, "Don't take me out, coach. I can still race." And Saney got 7th after that. Yeah, I agree with that. I forgot to mention that. Was actually talk about how he finished well for once. Forgot about that. Irvin Alvarado, appreciate a $9.99 from you. Now my review of the Garage 56 documentary on Amazon, a fun program, seeing the project come together, testing and drivers like Burton, Jimmy Johnson, and Rockefeller bonding, also replacing a gearbox quick. Dang. I haven't had a chance to watch that one. I need to finish the Dale documentary, but I need to watch the Garage 56 one. I just don't have a lot of time to sit down and watch documentaries like I would want to.
Yeah.
I mean, I have plenty of time at home right now, but I don't. I like to listen to my documentaries, and
Yeah.
there's something about a giant jumbo jet engine crying next to my ear that really makes it difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, and I need to watch that one. Someone else who was on the YouTube platform, Alonda's King, I saw she had a role in it, so I would like to go back and sit down and watch that one at some point.
Nice.
Justin Drake, appreciate the 1999, an additional 1999. Sorry, Justin, very generous tonight as always. Appreciate that. Riley Herbst, how much signal I need? So I need to cut across 8 lane. No, not turn now. Good luck, everybody.
Jeez.
I need to be careful.
And Danny goes to sensitivity training.
Then he got in trouble for that one time.
Which is funny. I remember because Rissa's like, I'm half Asian and I think it's hilarious. And then she had a bunch of just random white teenagers on Twitter get mad at her about it. And she's like, F it. I don't care anymore. This is stupid.
Denver Thurston, appreciate the Australian $5. Maybe it just says A and then the money sign. So I'm just going to guess.
Riss sent me a currency chart and I saved it on my phone because I was so bad at it because us Americans suck at knowing what the rest of the world is doing.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can scroll up to that.
So A money sign.
A amazingly is not on the currency chart she gave me. Riss.
Google, what is a dollar sign?
And she's in the chat saying it's Australian dollars.
Okay. Well, there's yep, Australian dollar. All right. Denver first, appreciate the $5 Australian dollars. Scenario, SVG could win all the remaining road courses and be the second seed in the playoffs. That is exactly true. If he won all the remaining road courses, he would actually have 4 wins. And granted, I think Denny Hamlin's going to win this weekend and he'll get him to 4, but that could theoretically get him at number 1, technically at the moment.
Well, you got to add stage points and top 10 points too with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, SVG is not getting the top 10 in points.
Herculean run.
But if he got 4 wins, that would be a Cup rookie record, breaking Davey Allison's and Tony Stewart's run.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus. It could happen.
Yeah, this is his rookie season, technically, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh yeah. I keep forgetting that because it feels like he's not. Justin Drake, an additional $9.99 from you. Appreciate that. Anyone else want to bet Kyle Busch was singing that Miley Cyrus song as he wrecking balled into 4 cars? Came in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah, I hear her now, and I just hear the one. It's all like this. Roger, Roger. That's how her voice sounds now.
Logan King again. We read this one earlier. $1.99. Just joined. Eric looks different this week. Yep, very much different. Lot shorter too.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. He's fine. He's just still frozen.
Snappy 452. Appreciate the $5. The chat needs to know: will Eric be granted a waiver after missing a round of random driver of the week? It's not like he just had a kid.
He didn't miss it. He's here all along.
He just was quiet the whole time. What are you talking about? He wouldn't speak up. Bailey Riker, appreciate the $2 from you. Angela Ruckus in NASCAR Heat 5 as a full-time driver. LOL. Hey, this one is very appreciated. David Bell sending in $2. Appreciate that from you. Hey, now we are having fun. Talk about the quote from his son.
Oh, shoot! You mean?
This is fun. We're having fun.
He knows his son voice when he hears it.
It's the super chat segment. You know what else the sounder needs to be?
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie. We're having too much fun with this now.
Get back to Justin Drake, another $9.99 from you. Really appreciate it. Oh my god. Jarrett wanted some booger sugar. I guess when we were talking about the crazy segment earlier. You wouldn't know anything about that. You're a good person.
Am I? I'm kidding.
You've been to the Michigan infield.
I've been, dude, the Chicagoland infield back in the day before they moved the date to September. That shit was wild. I learned way too much about way too many things that I do not want to talk about on air.
Like, is it like right under Talladega infield, probably, or maybe even worse?
I heard it compared at the time to it. Tony Stewart, I remember an interview where he actually said at the time it was similar in the Chicagoland infield because just shit went wild. Like, dude, I don't know if it's kind of been kept under wraps, but it's been like 20 years. But like somebody died there from golf cart surfing.
Oh my gosh.
That's exactly what it sounds like, is standing on top of a golf cart, right? And then getting flung off. Like, shit was crazy back in the 2000s, man.
Good,
and it wasn't like it was one of the most attended races either. Like that infield is a normal sized infield. I've been to the Michigan one too, and that's a pretty wild one too. Not as wild,
wow.
But like Chicagoland infield back in the day, man, like that was legit. Like little kid Jarrett saw some shit. There's a reason I got those beads over there at 10 years old.
Wow.
It was a great time. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Justin Drake again with another generous $9.99. Really appreciate everything tonight, Justin. I'm not going to read every word of this though. Sorry. Remember when Haley Deegan had to do sensitivity training because she was streaming on an iRacing Darlington race and called someone the R word for brake checking in the pace laps. That was more in reference to talk about the Carson stuff from earlier. Yeah, I do remember that. And she served her time or punishment for it. Alex, appreciate the $5. How long can you guys imagine SVG sticking around in NASCAR? He's definitely become a fan favorite to my wife and I. Hope you all and Eric are well. Appreciate that, Alex. I don't know. I mean, I was talking about Marcus Ambrose. His career lasted in the Cup Series, what, about 4 or 5 years? Is that how long he lasted?
He was full time by 2009.
But
2009. How long did he stick around until 2013?
13 was his last year.
What, 13? Wasn't it? I thought it was 14.
I thought Sam Hornish was in 2014.
No, he was 2015.
2015. Okay, so 09, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay,
and Ambrose did race in 2008 as well.
Oh yeah, part time. I forgot about that in the 21.
Call it 6 years.
So yeah, I'd probably say 5 to 7 years for SVG.
And because of age, yeah, too. I would say at the very least similar time to Marcus Ambrose.
I just looked up his age. He's 36 years old. So yeah, I could see 5, 6 years.
Yeah, I'd say by the time he's in his mid 40s, he's gonna want to be like, okay, let's go back. Let's go back home.
I could totally see, especially because NASCAR, like if they don't like the way the new changes to the format will be, whatever they are, they could change it again. I could totally see SVG being the type of guy that he just shows up to the road courses. He's a true road course ringer.
Oh yeah, you have to imagine that Trackhouse in an instant would be like, hey, you just want to bring back the Project 91? We'll go for it.
Yeah, totally.
Hunter Nixon Fishing. I don't think we've heard from you about all night, but appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate the $4.99. Dale Jr. All right, guys, we're going to do 4 tires and we got a car and a wall and fuel.
All right, we're coming to the pit now. Card wall, stay outside. Pancakes.
I realize this is the last
Dale,
minute
you're not the
change,
spotter.
I would love it if CW could somehow get a mic on Dale Jr.
NASCAR, somebody. Well, he'll have a mic. Technically, he's on a radio, so.
Well, yeah.
It's like, hey, Dale, it's on. Well, we're doing this strategy. Oh shit! I call you back, Steve, or whoever you are. I don't know who's up there anymore.
We need NASCAR mic'd up Dale Jr. as crew chief. We need that, kind of like what the NFL has done.
I feel like the beep button would be used a lot.
Yeah, it'd be done a lot. At the very least, I feel like Dirty Mo is definitely going to have something come out next week after that.
I mean, you kidding me? They'd make something about his banana mayo sandwich. They'll make something about this.
Yeah. Chris Furrow 11, appreciate the $5 from you. Are there any shapes you think could work for a track other than oval, quad oval, D-shaped oval, rectangle, or triangle?
Trapezoid.
Texas.
A hexagon sounds fun.
The Nickelodeon logo.
Wait, that's a road course. What are you talking about?
We can make it work. The Superman logo.
Okay, that actually.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a weird pentagon, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if they hit the wall, would they hit the Pentagon?
You know, a race outside of the pentagon might actually be a good one.
Maybe. We'll
Cameron
see.
Johnson, appreciate it, 499. I do not. Ooh. Cameron Johnson, 499. I do not want Mexico, Chicagoland, or San Diego in the early part of the season on Fox. I got scared for a second and then we were to say, I just don't want it.
I trust me. I don't want Chicagoland, especially on Fox.
And then they said, how could NASCAR schedule these races so they are not on Fox?
Well, Chicagoland's easy because it could snow in May. So don't.
I think Chicagoland
is safe.
If it's going in place of the Chicago Street Course, they just need to be July 4th race, I think.
I'm down, dude. I am down because I always go up north for that weekend. So like,
and make it a night race. Make it a night race too.
Sunday night race because you can't do it because the 4th of July is Saturday night, and Saturday night is like you just don't go against fireworks for the 4th of July.
Right.
Yeah.
So you do a Friday night truck race, you do a Saturday afternoon Xfinity race, and then you do a Sunday night cup race, and maybe you spread ARCA somewhere in there, like because they did the quadruple header back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember because I think it was Natalie Decker crashed right in front of me. I had the video of it and everything. I'm like recording the ARCA pack, and there she goes. I'm like, oh, there she goes around.
Oh gosh.
So like that, I'd be down with that, and I'm always up for the 4th of July weekend anyway. We'll have a big ass party in the infield. You know, we'll bring the podcast host. We can host the show there or something, or do a special or something like that. And
no golf cart surfing though.
No golf cart surfing. No. But I remember this one dude one year, because we used to stay right near the driver's lot in turn 4, and so we were at the end, and they had like the road that led either to the rest of the infield, to the medical center, to all of it. This guy comes up with this car and he goes, we're like, hey guys, you guys want a show tonight? And we're like, sure. What do you got? This dude's drunk off his ass. The security guard's watching, and he just picks up his chair and goes for the other side of the fence so he doesn't get hit. He goes, I'm going to show you guys a burnout tonight. Oh, okay. What you got? I call this the axle breaker. And he just like starts skidding these wheels. And like, you just hear this skid of the tires go down for maybe like 300-400 feet. And then it goes from to, and he drives it back. He broke his damn axle, and like everything underneath is like moving around, sparks flying everywhere. Dude's like, I didn't think it was actually going to break the car. And we're just watching this like, you nowhere else in the world but a freaking NASCAR race can you get this level of entertaining stupidity. And I never wanted to change.
Hell yeah, brother.
Dude, I have stories from every year at Chicagoland. Like I could probably make a 3-hour live stream out of my Chicagoland stories, and those are the ones I could tell on air. God, man, I want that to come back so damn bad. Sorry. Keep going.
That's it. That's the show.
No shit.
Yep, that's it.
Damn. How about
Nice.
that? Good way to end it out on the axle breaker.
Yep. We'll be on Jarrett's channel next week, by the way.
We're just telling
Nice.
Chicagoland stories and nothing else.
Yep. Michael Roots will be there. Join us for Michael and come in for all the Gemini festivities. It's gonna be
God,
a
we
good
gotta
time.
have his background be the background he used for the initial question he sent in when we interviewed Jimmy.
Oh gosh. Have we told you about that, Peter?
I think I heard about it whenever you guys were.
Yeah, we did talk about it on the show, I think, actually.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you for coming on tonight, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
thanks
went,
for having me,
I went from saying, hey, can you hop on the show last minute because Eric's not here? For the entire show? Yeah, no time limit. And okay, yeah, I can go on for a little bit. Okay, yeah, okay, do you need to go? No, I'll stay on for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah,
do you
I
need to
thought
go?
I had something coming up, but that turned out to not be the case. So all good on my end.
Well, thanks for spending 2 hours, 49 minutes with us here tonight. We've gone pretty long, actually.
Damn. Oh. Should I just hit the button?
Yeah, or we could stick around for another
No, nice. See you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Come in the line. Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.